In the middle of the moot grounds of the United Kin army, you, the Forsaken Winds, were attacked by devils in the night. They seem to be seeking, for some reason, the Forsaken's medallion. And after you snapped into action and fought against them, you were successful in slaying them, but not before they teleported away a different item of Divinor, Rome's vase. You all, as well as various allies in the surrounding vicinity, started rousing in the night to check on their surroundings and conduct scouting reports. And the moot leaders seem to be meeting currently up on top of the citadel once more. And as you all had a speak with dead encounter to gather information wherever possible off the Oni Hellfiend and start to make sense of their motivations, you now are able to recover, recuperate for the day, and plan for the future as you are tasked with setting out tomorrow morning for Forest Hollow with a good chunk of the army to defend it from a likely Durastian assault, because Forest Hollow will be a valuable staging ground for the foray into the war at large.
We have a pizza getting delivered at 6.
Okie dokie.
Telperion, what's a pizza?
I will move us to this screen.
It's got pineapple on it and pepperoni.
Wait, that sounds wrong.
That sounds wrong. I'll move us to this screen, but really we will pick back up as you all are able to continue to come together after some intel was gathered from the Oni Hellfiend. You were escorted in the once the dawn came over the tree light. Kinsalo brought you all to the tent of Aarakocra Captain Oro Junequill, who shared a moment of exposition and interaction with Telperion telepathically, shedding a little bit of insight into a moment from Telperion's past. You are led out of that tent, and Kinsalo says to you, Telperion, "Hey, thanks for being willing to do that. Not sure what all you two were able to share, but I feel like that was a meaningful truce that was just established."
Yes, do you all want to know what was discussed? I didn't mean for it to be private, but because of the nature of her state, it was.
I mean, if you're willing to share, I'm sure we'd all benefit from just knowing you that much more.
It was really odd. She was, well, I feel like things have been very different as of late because even just a few months ago, my reaction to meeting her would have been very different. But she invited me. I mean, importantly, she invited me to into her mind to show me the nature of her attack, the one that she led, was targeting our leader, Vanya, many years. Is that 7 years ago? And they. I guess I might not have believed it if I hadn't seen it. But they were discussing the stratagems they were going to use and how they wanted to try to take only one life and not any more than they needed to, and then they could, just minimize the bloodshed. But they are territorial, and so are we, protecting our borders as well. And she showed me essentially her view of Doran's death, which was odd because he moved strangely and very assuredly, but he was smiling as he thwarted her. So anyway, it would be nice to be able to put some of the burden down of my failures that day. And anyway, I think it's meaningful to keep talking with her, making those connections, since It would be a shame for any of this union to just dissolve 100% and all of our efforts to turn back. Yeah, that in top, you're saying that to everybody because bringing you in.
I'm really proud of you, Telperion.
Topian like puts a hand on your head, goes.
I also
Usually
am
one-
just like,
Yeah.
okay, can you take your sword back and stuff?
Oh, I forgot. I'm usually the one that's proud of you, Toby. Thank you. But then yeah, he'll take all the stuff back.
Perfect. Well, thanks again for doing that. Wanted to make sure I fit this into my morning because I'll definitely be training and organizing things with the Aura Corps probably all day. I don't know that I'll be accompanying you guys right away to Force Hollow, but I know a lot of the spear casters will be in a fairly large unit of the Aura Corps. So I just want to make sure all the logistics are taken care of. I need to coordinate with Altari and Rillis, but let me know if you guys get bored and want some company. But otherwise, day is yours.
I'll just like give him a hug before he goes and just say thank you in his ear before he goes.
Thank you. And then we'll walk away. It is true morning, maybe 8 or 9 at this point of Morndas, Monday, the 16th of Evening Star today. But you all know you'll be setting out tomorrow morning for roughly a almost 2-week venture through the woods with large contingents of a fraction of the army available. So there's some things you can see to. There might be matters you want to see to today before you leave this place and all the NPCs behind. Or you're welcome to not necessarily engage in anything specific if you don't want to. But you guys let me know if there are things you want to start doing today. And then you'll have a lot of time on the road as you travel. We don't need to RP through all of the travel. You guys have traveled in the Emerald Forest long enough times where we don't need to make it a challenge every time. But you guys are looking at about 2 weeks of time available coming up.
What NPCs are traveling with us? Anyone with a capital name?
Beast King Mordecai mentioned that he would at least venture to see your first battle and guide you as you defend the gates of Forest Hollow, as well as your father. But High Commander Rillis of the Aura Corps, Dinah of the Terra Corps, and other leaders will be staying back for now. Minerva, Kinsalo, some of the NPCs you all love to interact with are not necessarily all going to Forest Hollow right away, but may absolutely meet back up with you guys in the war effort where appropriate.
Can our treant come?
Your treant is more than welcome to come.
Excellent.
Your treant is your ally.
Best friend.
Dude, what am I doing out here without a companion? Why am I the only one?
I
Get on
throw like a dodgeball loaf at your face.
Just similar deal. I am. Maybe when he's kind of the more true version. I think you were saying. I don't know.
Jury will run over to you and take him out of your arms and bring him up to the tree. Jury's gonna hang out with the tree, Daisy, Loaf, and Shaggy. All the side characters.
Yes.
Who's Shaggy? Oh, Shaggy.
The Shag Stallion.
Oh, and
Yes.
Daisy.
Yes.
So sorry, I'll pull out some of these guys. Okay, there's Shaggy. Daisy's there. I don't have a thing for the treant yet.
Yeah, I'm about to. I'm gonna send you a picture in a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. Please.
Jury is also curious about the Norm mercenaries that came with us. He wants to go find them and ask them if they will be coming on our adventure.
Okay. As you start approaching, there's many war camps set up around the Citadel, but certainly some of the people of more import and notoriety gather around the Citadel itself. And as you guys sort of aimlessly make your way in that direction this morning, you do see, I always forget how to like draw you guys' screens to this spot, but over to the left and up a little bit, the Nora mercenaries seem to be just sort of conversing with a couple of bird folk and a were tiger.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll go out to them and just be like, "What's up, guys?"
Hey, there he is. How's all the fancy conversations and stuff going? We just sort of made a quick tent over there. Heard some chaos in the night, but guess that's what's to be expected with a war camp like this, right? Kellen is the one interacting with you at this point.
Yeah, that battle last night was an eye opener.
Wait, battle?
Oh yeah, we got attacked. You guys didn't know about this?
No, we're not exactly in the loop. I don't think the elves or beast folk know to keep us up to date.
All right, are you guys gonna come with us? I feel like we need extra bodyguards. We were fortunate. The only thing that got stolen was Rome's fancy vase. Fortunately for us, they did not find my jar of Orin air, which surely they were going after. Luckily, it is hidden. I don't carry it on myself. It's too valuable.
That is a real stroke of luck. You see Kellen is very earnestly sort of, he's slowly becoming a little bit of your hype man, but there's a sense of competition there too, that he wants to prove himself to you. And you detect no sarcasm in his voice. He is very earnestly like, thank goodness your power is still with you. Too bad about Rome's vase, but pottery's just pottery, right? Hopefully not a big deal.
Yeah, I think it had some type of magical ability to it. I'm not quite sure. But
dang.
Rome would know more about that. Anyways, we're gonna need you guys. Are you guys gonna come with us?
Yeah, are we going back to Forest Hollow?
Yeah, we're gonna fight some guys there. But we're gonna need you guys to keep an eye on us. Okay, watch our backs. Watch Toby. His back too. Maybe
Okay.
Berlad as well.
We can definitely do that.
All right, awesome. All right, Waylon, come with you guys. Come with us. Let's go back up to our camp, and we'll talk to everybody together.
All right, see you guys. Good talking with you.
Well, I want to bring like the whole group of them back to the main where we're stationed.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, Rebecca, Kellen, and Crumblebach will accompany you. The two bird folk and were tiger are gonna stay behind, but the three Nora mercenaries are with you once more.
DM, did you say if Miss Loonsong, Minerva Loonsong, was joining us on the way back, or no?
She will not be joining you on the entire journey back to Forest Hollow, but will meet back up with you at some point in the future. But she won't be with you every step of the way.
I will probably spend the day chatting with Minerva over my notes, over something that I'm going to be attempting to do based off of her notes, just charting the final course for my brain thoughts.
Okay. She eagerly discusses with you the theoreticals and the more logistical applications of what you guys are trying to pull off, and she helps where she can, but otherwise is just sort of facilitating your creative endeavors with what you're trying to do.
And then I will probably also just I'll stop by Mirages to pick up assorted bits and bobs of things I need for spellcrafting to that amount of money for, yeah.
I want to stop by Mirages too. Does anyone else need to? It's the Mirage.
Yeah, that's a great point. We can definitely get into any business purchases you guys want for Mirage. He's currently, you see him off in the distance, hard not to hear him, just sort of spinning tails and playing coin games with various beast folk, and you do notice a much larger sum of coin on his corner of the table than theirs.
Amazing.
Of course.
But you guys are welcome to wander up to him, and he will he sees you coming and just starts to summon his chests of shit. since his warehouse of the Arcanium is no longer currently active. Yes, my friends, what can I do for you? I'm just about to step away from these fine gentlemen. I think I have emptied their pockets of all they have to offer me, so I bid you adieu, my fellows.
Is anyone else with me? Or am I just by myself?
I would have come with you as well.
On the way over, I ask you to identify a spell book that I took from what's this called? Who's it? Who's the
Thane Gaspard is,
Thane
I believe,
Gaspard's
who you
spell
had
book.
got this spell book off of.
And what spells are in the spell book?
I will cast Identify on the spellbook.
You are welcome to cast Identify. I'll say you do so ritualistically because there's no magical information to gather from it. It is a standard fare spellbook. You do catch the familiar scent of arcane ink that has been inscribed on all the pages for the spells. I am trying to pull up his inventory right now to see all the spells that he had available. And I know you warned me about this, but sadly, for some really dumb reason, when we were done with Thane Gaspard, I removed him from my homebrew creations list, so I will have to recall what his spells are that he has. But there are numerous spells in that book. Probably most notably, the strongest one is Flesh to Stone, which is, I believe, a 6th level spell or maybe a 4th level spell. But that was notably the spell he had used to make statues out of various individuals. Yeah, that's a level 6 spell.
Jeez. We don't really need the RPA because I don't need that much. Well, I want to know what level 1 spell scrolls Mirage has.
He definitely does have those. I will pull up his inventory here. Level 1s, he has Burning Hands. Oh, these are all 50 gold worth. Burning Hands, Chromatic Orb, Comprehend Languages, Disguise Self, Find Familiar, Grease, Mage Armor, Sleep, Thunder Wave, and that's it.
Okay. I will buy the Disguise Self scroll.
You do so, and he will sell it to you for 50 gold.
Mirage, do you have any interest in this sword? And I hold out the Sword of the Betrayal. Betrayal.
Sword of Betrayal. He will look at it. Have you shown this to him before?
I don't know that I have.
I think you might have, because I think I remember him turning you down, that he is not an interested buyer in this particular item. He can detect and just notice coming off of it the cursed energy from the sword, and does not have a contact that could adequately restore it and remove the curse.
Right. Mirage, do you know anyone who would want find this useful or interesting? It's not something I think our army should use, but you think we could do something with it?
This one does have a contact in Nor Azel, south on the Jazoran coast. You could reach out to the librarian. He may have enough interest in exotic items such as this that he could find some use for it.
Does he sell exotic items?
He does. But he is a collector of odds and ends that would not normally be of particular value to typical consumers.
We're not typical, are we?
No, perhaps there are things you are willing to sell that this one is not willing to buy. Maybe he will.
All right, maybe we'll send him a message or something. Some long distance business. Thank you, Mirage. And that kind of wraps up everything for me. Oh, I'll also buy whatever I need to inscribe Disguise Self into my spellbook.
Oh, perfect.
I think that costs another 50 gold, right?
Is it 50 gold per spell?
I think for a first level spell, yeah.
Okay, if that's the case, then yes, one more round of 50 gold, and you can buy the required arcane inks to transcribe that into your book.
Yeah, for each level of the spell, the process takes 2 hours and costs 50 gold. I'll just probably
Perfect.
achieve that over our 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my spell bit got bigger. Roulette, look.
I am nowhere near you.
I just think you're still there. Okay, thanks. That's all for me.
Perfect. Roulette? Any specific components you're looking for?
Lots of wiring and cabling stuff. Nothing really magical. I actually don't even know. Yeah, maybe some ink. I don't know. I'm making this up, by the way. Okay, yeah. Lots of wiring and cabling. I'm probably gonna steal a bunch of not steal, take a bunch of magical ink as well, if there's magical ink. But I'm not gonna be using it to write anything. I'm just gonna be dousing the cables and wires in it to see what happens. And yeah, nothing. Yeah, that's I don't know.
Okay. If we'll say you're interested in what you're interested in RP wise, as
Yeah.
we get into the specifics, we can sort of retroactively come to specifics if necessary.
Yeah.
Perfect. How about Jiri, Rome, and Toby? What are you guys interested in?
I will just hang out with the Forest Hollow guys and gals and teach them. I'm gonna like have them practice like climbing up in wild sage blossom, like learning where the different like holds are to get up the tree really quick. Like, are there any like good archery spots to like fire arrows down and hide? And then like also practicing like flying on Shaggy with them. Get
Perfect.
them like
Yeah.
prepared and ready.
You definitely, because of the branch's restoration to life through Rome's awaken spell, you definitely are able to, it'll take a normal climbing speed, so half movement for most people, to ascend Wild Sage Blossom's branches, but definitely a lot of good perch areas for people to hide within or perch on for shooting arrows downward or otherwise. So it is a very large creature. I think a treant is a huge creature, so 3 by 3 by 3. We'll say he's a little taller than 15 feet, but with the 18 feet high and diameter of the branches and stuff, many creatures could sort of ride, quote unquote, him while he walks through the forest. So
Yeah, more so just getting them familiar and practicing,
perfect.
getting ready for combat if need be.
Sounds good. Rome, anything from you?
Rome is going to ritually cast Commune with Nature now that she has her treant. But also it's like a way to try and figure out, I don't know, the direction that her base had gone.
The direction that they're what?
Her base had gone. Like, is there any like indicate? You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So in my questions that I asked.
Sure. Remind me, Commune with Nature, do you get 3 questions of the nearby environment?
You instantly gain knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice about any of the following subjects as they relate to the area.
Okay. Do you want all 3 of those to sort of compound on information for your vase, or do you want to individually ask specific questions to gather info?
Well, okay, so one of the questions that I would like ask would be like any information about the base, like is there any like remnants or like direction, like I don't know, any information about the terrain that would indicate the direction that my base is. And then the other thing that I want to know is what powerful beings are in this particular area. And then whether or not there's influence from other planes of existence on this area.
Okay. Got it. With those three things, you extend your consciousness out, and like roots taking hold in the ground that just reach out infinitely. Well, not infinitely, but a 3 mile radius or so. Your just neural network just instinctively gathers information from your surroundings. Unfortunately, no trace or signature of your vase exists in this vicinity, and you gain sort of the confidence that it was absolutely teleportation magic that sent it somewhere far away. If it had been walked away or it had moved from location to location in this vicinity, you might have been able to sense like ping points in maybe indicate some sort of trajectory or direction. But since there's none, you know it was powerful teleportation magic that just sent it way outside the bounds of this vicinity. Number three was the other planes. Number two was powerful creatures. Your awareness is immediately pulled sort of upward and off to the side toward the top of the citadel as two extremely powerful individuals remain up there right now. One very bestial, one rather refined. And then number three, essences of other planes' influence on this place. Almost like a very slight smog on the lungs when you inhale. The lingering effects of Shadowfell magic still exist here, but they're far, 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 far less potent than they once were. And you suspect that that's not due to active influence, but just the vestiges of the foul curse of these lands that is no longer in effect.
I'm gonna chill with Sage in the forest.
Yeah.
Try and solidify a bond. I also sent you a picture by email.
Oh, perfect. I will check that out. I will PNGify that alongside Loaf for next week.
Get in line.
Oh, very cool picture. Very cool. Love it. How about you, Toby? Anything in particular?
No. I think I have a commune I'm interested in doing, probably closer to lying down for the evening.
Okay. Well, otherwise, most of the day will pass until General Mathros will come looking for all of you and welcome the Noras to attend as well, as they have a tent set up near the Selethars, the Elvish encampments, where a war table has been laid out, and he's currently going over assorting different units and contingents of battalions for use, and he wants to sort of get you up to speed on what sort of individuals you may be commanding at Forest Hollow. So should you be willing to follow him?
We do.
I'm going to try and find a different song. I don't have a specific song in mind necessarily. That's not right. Let's do...
The Witcher.
Witcher.
You know what we could do? It's a very war-based meeting, so let's
Ooh, but
go with
the
this
peaceful one was so nice.
I know it was. We'll do that maybe on the travel. Thank you all for coming. Son, Toby Rama, Jiri, Rome, Roulette. Nora mercenaries, is that correct? I'd like to discuss with you the various units that will obey the command of those of your position. With your recent promotions, you are fit in stature and authority to command units. But I understand that many of you are not familiar with the practice. Therefore, myself, and it appears the Beast King as well, will guide your efforts the first time around. It would seem, in addition to our more structured and organized masses of soldiers and individuals willing to give to the fight, that various wildlife has also flocked to Mythiline Rome's side. We suspect we may be able to utilize them in some way as well. But please, gather around the war table and let us discuss for a moment the types of units you might use for defense against Durast.
Oh my god, yes.
Holy shit. Oh my god, there's stats.
In addition to the units here, in everyone's library in Roll20, or in the newspaper icon rather, at the top, I've made the rules of warfare should be available for everyone to view if and when you want, and I think I can show it to you guys by clicking this. Hopefully it showed you guys.
You can make it its own little tab too.
Yes, you absolutely can. So, Mathros, we won't do all of this in RP, but Mathros will go over with you guys sort of what to expect in a warfare battle. You each will select a unit of the available units made available for each skirmish battle, and the rules are according to this rules of warfare. You can only take a single bonus action, a single action, and a movement like you would in normal combat, but it's larger scale than that. Every round or every turn takes a minute rather than 6 seconds, and range and movement is measured in hundreds of feet rather than like 30 feet for this movement. Actions, there's 2 options only. You can either attack with your unit or you can dash. Bonus action, you can either defend or use a special capability, which is different for each unit type. Defending is sort of like bracing yourself. You would take half damage from all enemy units attacking you until the start of your next turn. And should you be a particularly small unit and you defend, you cannot be one shot, even by an enormous unit. Initiative is determined by a commander's morale, which is a thing we'll get into later, and their experience with that type of unit. Some people might already have experience with some types of units or have had adequate participation or involvement with those individuals that will earn them quote-unquote experience. Then there's a lot of specific rules about how things happen when health points are reached, but we don't necessarily need to get into that quite yet. So then back to the unit selection screen. You all are 5 individuals, and there's 6 available units to command. You all are each welcome to pick a unit, although there are prerequisites sometimes for the unit types. The only, I would say the most important one is that only Rome can command the Fauna Followers unit. However, if she doesn't want to command those, you're welcome to pick a different unit. But the prerequisite for that specific unit is only Rome has that availability. There's other prerequisites in here. The Terracor are sort of just a mass infantry unit, so there's no prerequisites there. The Celithar, you have to be able to speak Elvish. You have to have that language available to pick that command. Oricor is more specific. You have to have a flying speed through some means to interact and command the Oricor. Nor mercenaries, there's no commander prerequisite. Another thing is experience. If you are experienced with a unit, you will gain advantage on initiative rolls. Telperion is the only one experienced with the Celithar. Rome is the only one experienced with the Fauna Followers. And Jiri Roulette, and Toby have spent enough time interacting with the Nora mercenaries or at Forest Hollow to have enough experience with the Nora mercenaries that you would get advantage with that unit. However, if you do the math, not everyone's going to be able to pick a unit that you have advantage on initiative with. Size depends your attack. Unit type determines your speed and the range of your attacks. So if you want, we can sort of like just spend some time sort of picking around this screen, and you guys can ask me questions about things. But at a very basic level, you're going to use some of these units and attach yourself as their commander, and you're going to battle against various Durastian units. There's some subtleties that will come into play during the conflict, but you can move up to your speed every round as part of your speed. You can dash to double the speed. Your range is essentially the distance of the range of things. So like a short bow has a range of 60 feet or whatever. The range here is dependent on, if your range is 1, your unit can only attack something 1 space away and therefore has to be adjacent to the unit it's attacking. A 2 means they're probably equipped with some standard short bows or crossbows and they can attack 2 spaces away. Notably, the Selethar, who are very versed with longbow combat, have the longest range, but they don't have as much speed as some of the more feral, wild beast folk and aura core individuals. The Nora mercenaries and Fauna followers are much smaller units with less health, but they have some interesting abilities. They have passive abilities, which I can describe, and they have custom special bonus actions. Remember that bonus actions, you can take 1 bonus action a turn, which is either defend or your unit type's custom special bonus action. There's some appealing things for small units. Don't immediately assume that, hey, the bigger units are the fun ones and the small ones are just weak. It's not quite that simple. Or hopefully I've done my job to not make it quite that simple. So if you're interested in a unit type, maybe throw yourself on there and we can talk through what the abilities are, what that might look like, etc.
They already did it.
I think we did it.
The only question I have is, do we think a limited resource like the casting of a 3rd level spell Tongues would qualify me for Elvish for the Selethar unit?
If that is a duration of like 1 hour or so, then I would say absolutely. That can, using that spell slot will avail you to command that unit. What's also interesting, and we can get into the specifics here later, but Warfare, we're simulating large-scale battles here with hopefully very simple rules, but that doesn't take your character zoomed-in approach out of the equation. When you damage opponent units down to a certain threshold, you as an individual can target their commander and have sort of one-on-one battles with them in the midst of chaos of battle. But they can do the same to you, and your allies can move their units over into range so that they can join the commander battles going on. And units are not immediately destroyed if their unit HP is destroyed. They can still occupy locations, seize objectives, things like that. A unit is not removed from play until the commander is defeated. So the large-scale simplistic rules of the stuff simulates the large-scale battle stuff, but at the end of the day, you guys are the heroes of this journey, and you as commanders are very important to injuring and defeating the commanders of the enemy units. Again, we can get into some subtlety of that later, but and we can get into it now if you'd prefer to dive into that now. But the way I foresee the rest of this session going is, we can tinker around with this stuff, talk through it until you want to move on, and then we can do any before long rest activities. We can do our travel over 10 to 14 days, and then we can potentially jump into a battle that will take place at Forest Hollow.
MK, how many 3rd level slots do you have?
And above 8, but just 3rd is 3.
Like, if you cast tongues 8 times a day for 10 days, is that like Duolingo?
Kind of. You just forget all the learning you did as soon as it wears
Or maybe
off.
I could just actually spend those 80
Like
hours
learning
learning the
English.
language.
Yes.
With like some enhanceability or something. No, I'm just interested because
That's funny.
Yeah. No, but spell resource is a good thing to bring up because tongues, yes, casting a 3rd level spell would let you command a Celithar unit, for example. However, that is a spell resource you got rid of, so that's not available now in your
Sure.
interaction with the enemy commanders throughout the warfare. So resource management still matters, but it is certainly a little less critical than a day's worth of adventuring. But if you want to cast aid on everyone or death ward on everyone and then go into the fray, you obviously just have less powerful spell slots available for if you're attacking a Talon who's commanding a unit, for example. So
Ooh.
MK, I think. Well, we do have that staff, the charming staff, which has comprehend languages on it.
Sure.
But also, I like the diversity of you with Terracore anyway. So
I was kind of interested in trying to command the biggest one, and just giving that a shot.
Yeah. If that's the case, are you interested in talking through a couple of like? You're just sort of in the spotlight here. Do you want to talk through Terracore stuff real quick?
I had first. I would like to get into that. Is there an intention? So, like, tongues makes a lot of sense how that would apply to a unit-wide thing. Are there any more kind of individual spells that would translate to big thing? Like, I'm wondering if I could cast Warding Bond on a Celithar unit and have my Terracore unit share their damage or something.
No, so that's more individual. That is per the language of the spell. Tongues can target yourself, so now you meet the prerequisite to interact with the group in this way. But Warding Bond, you can't Warding Bond hundreds of individuals, because as you'll note, the size category of your unit is either a 1x1, a 4x4, a 9x9, and the amount of hit points that unit has is sort of the amount of individuals in that unit. A huge unit like the Terracore is a 9x9, 25 individuals in each space for a total of 225 individuals.
Sure.
Getting injured down to 0 HP doesn't mean every single person was killed, but it means enough people were gravely wounded or enough casualties or death that when you're at 0, your commander might still be alive, but you can't attack any enemy units anymore. Once you're reduced down to 0, you can't attack anymore, but you still can hold locations, seize objectives until your commander is defeated.
Cool.
So spells still work as written. You can't apply a spell to an entire unit, but there can be situational things. Casting Fly on yourself can let you interact with the Auricore. If you had flying boots, you can interact with the Auricore and command them, for example.
If.
So yes, if.
So
as
tell
a
me
note,
about...
as we're on the top of the Terracore, your size is huge. It's a 9x9, 225 individuals in that unit. HP is 225. Your attack is dependent on your unit's size. Mostly, there's some passives and stuff that change that. But since you're a 9x9 unit, you have a 1d8 damage die per space. So you're dealing 9d8 damage to an enemy unit when you attack. You can move 3 spaces. Speed is 3, which is functionally 300 feet. You can attack
melee
1 space away. Yes, it is a melee unit. The ferality of these individuals is in the fray, slashing and clawing and punching occasionally, bludgeoning the enemy. Your passive ferality, and I just haven't yet, but I can put a quick list together of what the passives and specials are. I just didn't quite have time to get that together, but I can make that available. Ferality is a passive that as your unit is lower and lower HP, you're going to be dealing more and more damage. Slowly.
Yeah.
But functionally, for every 25 hit points you lose, you're going to deal 1 more damage. So by the time you're a smaller unit, you're going to be 98 plus 9, for example, or plus 8, but yeah. Your special is Shift. It's a bonus action. which the Terracor are full of beast folk individuals that are used to shape shifting. They're Villian, they're wild marked. There's various individuals that are either affected with lycanthropy or other means of shape shifting. That will increase the size of your attack die by 1 stage only for that turn.
Sure.
So by foregoing the defend action, you're more susceptible to damage when other people want to attack you, but you're doing 9d10 instead of 9d8.
Cool.
No prerequisites. You're not experienced with that unit, so it's entirely based on morale. Right now, for the first skirmish, everyone starts with a morale of +1.
Neat.
So your initiative essentially roll a d20 +1. If you have enough experience with that unit, roll initiative with advantage +1.
And one last thing I'm interested in is, as a commander, would casting like charisma enhanceability give me any help with commanding my whole unit of inspiring?
Not necessarily. Okay. Morale checks will come into play, and that's based on morale, not specifically charisma, because non-charismatic individuals can still very sufficiently and competently command units of armies, even if they're not a particularly charismatic person. No, charisma buffs aren't specifically useful for warfare mechanics, but it could apply in other ways if you're trying to intimidate a commander in the fray into giving you information or something. Like, there's still other ways to apply creative spells, but
what does fleet-footed do?
Fleet-footed is you are not affected by difficult terrain. The Selethar are very versed in forest environments, and therefore whether it's plains or deserts or muddy swamplands or otherwise, you can move through difficult terrain with sacrificing no movement.
Love that. And then the special
is cloaking, which is a very I'm proud of the clever word, because it's cloaking is like a cloaking mechanic, like cloaking device, but it's also based on their elven cloaks of elven kind. It's basically a bonus action hide. A enemy commander and their unit can approach you and attempt to attack you, but if you've taken the hide bonus action, the cloaking bonus action, they have to succeed on a DC 15 perception check based on the commander's perception. If they fail that, they cannot target you with their attack that turn. But notice the way this works out, it's a risk. You're choosing not to defend to get a chance at not even being able to be targeted. But if they win, they can attack you for full normal damage. But if they fail, they can't hit you with any damage. So it's essentially you're rolling the die when you use the cloaking.
Cool.
It is a risk. And noticeably, your speed is 2, which is a very standard unit speed. Your range is 3, so you can attack farther away than most other units. Your size is a large unit, so 100 individuals make up each unit. Attack is 4d8. Do we want to just move through to the other 3 units real quick? Who wants to go next?
Spearcasting.
Spearcasting restrains. Let me get to that. Spearcasting. If you use a bonus action to spearcast, that enemy unit has its movement speed reduced by half the next for their next turn. Neat. So there might be situations where defending is still your preferred bonus action, but if you want to prevent a unit from reaching a destination to seize an objective, or you don't want them to get too far away from you or to an ally, you can restrain their movement, which, because of dash, just doubles their movement for the turn. If they can move 2 and would dash 4, dashing only gets them 2 spaces that whole turn.
Yeah.
So has some strength to it. Passive is flying. You can move similarly to fleet-footed, no difficult terrain in most situations. There can be weather that can still affect you, but you can also fly over, and therefore your unit can overlap with other units. Otherwise, you can't cross into an enemy space. The squares of stuff sort of Tetris hit up against each other. the Oracore can fly and therefore can overlap and move across enemy units, etc.
Neat.
You're so at home in the skies.
Your flying boots are absolutely an adequate prerequisite for flying speed.
Stepping steps.
The Loonsong lifting loafers.
Not the loafers.
Rome or Jiri, who wants to dive into your units?
Our mercenaries. They're the next. Sorry,
Okay.
Alex.
So you are a small unit, which means you're made up of the total people that the Nora mercenaries can outfit. They don't have enough individuals suitable for a larger unit. They can only make a small medium-sized unit. So your HP is 25. 25 individuals make up your unit. Your attack is a low damage die, 1d8. Your speed is 2, fairly standard for movement of normal individuals. Your range, though, is 2, so you're not just melee based. You can attack from melee, certainly, but you can attack one space away as well because they're outfitted with crossbows suitable and short bows suitable for reasonable range. Your passive is overlooked. I want to pull up my little thing here really quickly because I have a thing for overlooked. There it is. Overlooked. You cannot be targeted until you cannot be targeted if there is another unit with another allied unit within range that has more HP. As long as you are smaller than someone else, Durast is always going to attack the bigger threat. So although you have lower HP, it's not like you're going to get one shot or focus down early because they can't hit you until later in the battle where they've damaged other people nearby enough to see you functionally. You also have the special ability Maneuver, which is a bonus action dash that allows you to move through occupied spaces. So your movement speed is 2. By using a bonus action Maneuver, you double that to 4 for the turn, and you can move through enemy spaces or ally spaces.
I like it. I'm already thinking about spells that I can cast on everybody since it's a small group.
That might be possible, yeah. If there's spells, again, spells work as written. So if it's like, hey, just know that your unit is still occupying a space of size, but we can work through if you have certain ideas whether they're in play or not.
I got some good ideas, yes.
There's no commander prerequisites for commanding the Nora mercenaries, but you do have adequate experience with them where so far what I'm seeing is you and Telperion and Rome will have advantage on your initiative rolls and then add your +1 morale. Because noticeably, Tobirama and Roulette have experience with the Nora mercenaries as well from their time before the campaign. You specifically have spent enough time interacting with the Noras and sort of building morale with those individuals that you have earned experience with this unit type.
Cool.
And then we have Fauna Followers for Rome. Again, if you don't want to for any reason, you don't have to pick this unit. But you are the only one that can. You are similarly a small unit, but notice there's an asterisk near that.
Yeah,
Your HP is 25, similar to small units, but there's an asterisk near that. And your attack is 1d8, similar to small units, but your asterisk near that. Your speed is 2, very normal, fair speed. Range is 1. Your Fauna Followers are only attacking from melee. But your passive is wild. You're not an organized, structured, disciplined unit of predictable soldier movements. Therefore, when enemies attack you, their damage die stage is reduced by 1. Durast, a large Durast unit's not going to be dealing 4d8 to you. They'll be dealing 4d6 to you. So their damage die is reduced when attacking you because they're not used to or versed in attacking a wild, sporadic, fickle, wild unit.
It's like guerrilla warfare.
Kind of, yeah. And your special is Swarm. By using a bonus action, any turn you want to, over and over again in combat if you want, foregoing the defend, you're maybe making yourself a little more vulnerable, but you can attach one more small unit of fauna followers to you, giving yourself an additional 25 hit points, an additional 25 or an additional 1d8 damage die, and slowly over time becoming a larger and larger unit, and doesn't have to be a square. You can Tetris attach on pieces to you however you want to. However, for the purposes of warfare here, we're not doing diagonal movement. We're not doing, oh, I can rotate my unit. We're fully going orthogonal for this. So even if you attach your thing in a line and then do an L shape attachment later, you can only move that L across the screen. You can't necessarily reform the snake, so to speak, just to keep things manageable.
So that was as a bonus action or an action?
That is your bonus action special, Swarm. So normally everyone can bonus action defend, taking half damage from all attacks against them until the start of their next turn. Or you can do your special actions. I'm just going to say right off the bat, just insight wise, it's probably pretty rare that an enemy unit can move to attack you on turn 1. So pretty much every single time you guys engage in warfare combat, you might as well start off your thing with bonus action Swarm, because you're just adding on a 25 hit point and 1d8 adder that lasts for the whole warfare battle. And so then from that point on, as you guys start actually attacking and engaging with the enemy, you might be making judgment calls turn by turn on, do I want to defend? Do I want to swarm to make myself bigger? What's more worth it? Adding 25 HP and making my attack stronger, or bracing myself to take half damage? It might be a judgment call. So this has been a bit of an info dump, but when you zoom out and start getting familiar with it, it really is a simple system. You're going to attack and bonus action and move every turn. And then depending on HP thresholds, there's commander interactions that will take place to potentially win or lose battles. Mathros will also say that since we only have enough individuals suitable for fighting and journeying along with you to facilitate these 6 units for Forest Hollow's defense. Over time, more units and more reinforcements of the United Kin's army will show up and be in different units, and unit sizes and configurations will be available in future battles and warfare efforts. This is what's available for this battle effort, and every single time we start to go through this process again, we'll reassociate what do people want to command, because it might change time by time. Noticeably, there's one unused unit here that no one's taken command of. So Mathros will say that he will be waiting in the cover of Forest Edge as a reinforcement unit should you need it. And functionally, without getting a little too meta-y, that is to facilitate. It's going to be pretty difficult for any of you to die in your first trial run of this warfare effort. Still possible, but because of this reinforcement unit laying off on the side of the combat, you guys are pretty safe. There is an additional effort or unit of reinforcements that can join the fray to help you guys. That's what we've got so far for warfare. If we want to, we can talk through the rules of warfare, PNG. Rules of warfare: attack or dash. You're going to target an enemy unit that's within range, and you're dealing damage according to your size: 9d8, 4d8, 1d8, or different, depending on what your current situation is. Dash, move your speed an additional time that turn. Bonus action, defend. You take that bonus action, and until it gets through the initiative count to your turn again, 4 different Durastian units could attack your unit. You're taking half damage from all attacks. Your people have taken up a defensive position. And should you be a small HP unit, you cannot be reduced to 0 from full HP. From a single unit attack, if you've taken the defense. So a gargantuan unit of 16d8 still cannot one-shot a small 25 HP unit if you've taken up defensive positioning. It's going to deal a fuck ton of damage. You're probably going to escape that with 1 hit point, but you cannot be immediately outright killed. Special ability bonus action per unit type, as we discussed. Initiative. Most of you are going to be rolling a single d20 plus 1. Telperion and Jiri, I believe, and Rome have chosen units that they are experienced enough with to gain advantage on the initiative check. Also, skipping all the way to the bottom real quick, you can lose and gain morale throughout situations in warfare. You gain morale when your unit, or sometimes specifically you, are responsible for a victory condition being met. You defeat an enemy commander. You seize or destroy the Ballistae Tower. You break down the gate to this dam entrance. There can be various objectives that might come up in future warfare efforts. If you meet one of the victory conditions, all of which have to be met to win, your unit gains morale, and that's a stacking infinite thing. You as commander have gained sort of a reputation for he commanded his unit well, so no matter what unit you command next time, you're maintaining your permanent morale score always. But that could go the other way too. If your unit is getting most damage, you're knocked out, other ways of you losing morale, that can stick with you and therefore hurt your units in the future's willingness to initiative. Yes, Tim, Jiri.
Is there advantage as well? Like, say we flank, are there going to be like flanking and different like?
There is none, because with the grand scale of this warfare, it's not like you're going to miss or critical hit. There's such a volume of crossbow bolts being fired, or such a volume of short sword play, that damage is being done. So that's where the simple damage die come in. So there's really no rolling to hit or missing or critting or advantage or disadvantage. That can still apply to the commander skirmishes. If you as Jiri's unit have damaged your opponent unit enough to interact with their commander, Toby Rama's unit can also jump in on that fray if they're in range, and you guys can flank the commander to take down the commander very well, but not for units specifically.
Could there be any benefit? Because just thinking about like warfare in general, like a flanking maneuver, like crushing an army between two armies is like,
I would say, yes, it's a very standard tactic and very important and very valuable. In here, because of the grid locked orthogonal movement, you are restraining their position. Even if you're a small unit and Durast is a bigger unit next to you, they can't move that way if you snuck around from the back. They might still be able to move this way and this way stuck between two units, but it absolutely affects their positioning, their movement capabilities. So you guys could four-way flank a group, and they can't move to like take objectives and stuff, and then it just becomes a slugfest of, can they damage one of you enough to get out of that, or are you guys going to take them down? So flanking in a tactic perspective still has advantages, but just doesn't grant a mechanical advantage like that. Then we get to the two sort of mini paragraphs in here that are the more nuanced rules. When a unit is reduced to half health or less, that unit's commander is revealed. So when you guys are attacking Durast, a unit of Durast, you don't know who's commanding it until you've sort of weeded down their numbers enough to find and see their commander. And same to you. So if you reduce them to half health, they're bloodied, you see their commander. And the commander must succeed a morale check or suffer a penalty to morale. That affects initiative immediately. Changes to morale can shift and lower and push you up and down in initiative. And Telperion happens to be the only one that shows a crest that's actually suitable for warfare. So your tactician ability to move initiatives can matter in these skirmishes. Otherwise, the rest of you have still your crest. You can still damage or superpower your spellcraft or your martial abilities in like the commander battles. They just might not be as readily apparently valuable from the zoomed out view of the warfare battle. Okay, so they have to succeed a morale check. The commander is responsible for the group's morale. That can affect initiative. Once they're revealed, the commander takes direct damage by future attacks. They take half of the damage dealt to the unit. So, Jiri, if you're dealing 4d8 and you roll it and it deals 17 damage to the enemy unit, well, the revealed commander, say it's a Durastian Knight, for example, is going to take, I think we'll round up 8 damage, or is that round up? Or no, round down 8 damage to them personally. Then immediately after you've damaged a commander, you as an individual can attack them with a full round of attack. Your extra attack, cast a spell at them. However, as soon as they damage your unit back to half health or less, they can do the same shit to you. And so because your commander is the most important part of your unit, that might affect retreat strategies, or hey, call out to that other unit, so I need to get away from here. You intercept them so they can't get to me because I as commander am at low health. Come help me as a unit. Because if you as commander are defeated, your unit is removed from play.
Let's say my battalion does 20 damage and the commander's been revealed. Does it go 10 to the unit, 10 to the commander, or is it?
No, the unit still takes 20 damage.
Half
the
of that
commander just takes
done.
half of the sort of individual of like shrapnel or just a bunch of crossbow bolts hit them. Not enough for the whole unit, but you take half the damage that the unit took. Notably, just sort of thematically, because as your numbers get sort of weeded down, your units sort of congealing closer and closer together. So like you're identifying the commander and you're launching your attacks at that smaller area, and so they're just going to take a big portion of that focus. Then you as commander can engage the enemy commander in standard combat. Allied commanders can join in on this commander to commander combat. They just need their unit to get into range to attack the unit so that they can make an attack right after they deal damage. When
Steve's unit would be good at, because her speed is
killing
so hot,
blow.
She'd be good at ganging up and helping.
Absolutely. And noticeably, just because I like to sort of represent up front some of the benefits of different units, I'm going to mention the Nora Mercenaries. The Nora Mercenaries I wanted to make sure there's compelling reason to pick a small unit, not only because you can't be targeted because you're overlooked, but a small unit like the Nora Mercenaries specifically is a great assassin unit. You can bonus action dash, move through occupied spaces to deal your minimal 1d8 damage to an ally, but because you're dealing damage, you get to immediately enter the fray on that commander to commander combat. So they're really good at being mobile and assisting other people. They are an assassin.
So if I'm like
damaging the commander is probably more valuable than dealing damage to the unit, because if you kill the commander, the unit loses its morale and willingness to fight. So just because it's a 1d8 damage die means, okay, maybe for some of the bigger clashes you're not dealing a ton of damage, but you can help gang up on, move into advantageous positions, and gang up on commanders really nicely with that unit.
So the unit's damage isn't what's so great about that. It's that if I'm in a 1v1 with a Duras commander, Jiri can come in and help me.
Yes.
Ooh,
yes, absolutely.
So it'd be a 2v1. So like,
so you sort of see Jiri's unit approaching Duras, and you're fighting him from this side. He's approaching, and then you see Jiri cutting through the Nora Mercenaries, making his way to the commander that you're already firing arrows at, and using your actual D&D combat abilities. Yeah, so it's very fun because I wanted to make the warfare representative of a large-scale thing with simple rules, but I'm like, but they're the heroes of the journey. They don't want to not be able to use their abilities. So the commander battles are where that happens.
So like Jiri, his unit is going to be good because it can flow through an enemy unit. So that you're going to be mobile and small for Strike Force. Roulette's also going to be mobile with flying and fast. So able to get somewhere. Me and then I don't know how that translates. So
the only thing I would say about the Auracore roulette to keep in mind is you can bonus action, or you can action dash and cover 8 spaces, which is a lot, but you can't attack. Spear casting will restrain their movement, but although you have crazy mobility, you can't immediately join the fray in that specific example against a commander like that.
The spear casting is just like
it's
automatic.
Automatic.
Okay, that's what I want to make
bonus
sure.
They don't have to succeed on a dex check or anything like that. You're launching, again, it's representative of a large group of spear casters. Some of those are working, and it's hindering the general unit's ability to move as a cohesive unit. So it, regardless of, it only restrained 30 out of 100 people, it's not like that. And they don't have to make saves. Enough people are pinned down where the unit's movement is hindered. So that is automatic. Telperians is the only one that the fleet-footed, or the cloaking is the only one that triggers an actual dice roll from the commander to proceed, and that's because it's a risk. Do you want to not be targeted at all, or are you making yourself a little more vulnerable because you didn't defend? And there might be judgment calls on where one's mathematically way more, you should choose that one versus this other one.
I mean, cloaking just sounds sick, so I'm going to want to do that one.
Then we'll tackle this last little mini paragraph. When a unit is reduced to 0, you automatically, when you reduce to half health, the commander has to make a morale check. If they fail, it's just a DC check of your morale. So D20 plus 1 to beat 10. It's like a death saving throw almost. If you fail it, you lose 1 to morale. Your initiative immediately takes a 1 hit. If you're reduced to 0, there's no check. You automatically lose 1 morale, which carries over into future skirmishes. Your net summation total of morale carries with you as a commander.
Do you think it's worth creating like a custom item in our inventory to track our own morale?
Definitely could do that. That's a good idea. You automatically suffer -1 to morale if you're reduced to 0, and you must then make the check or be removed from play. That's the thing that keeps units in play. Even if if their commander is dead, they're gone. But they can have a check to try and stay in the fray, even if they're at 0 hit points. If they're at 0 hit points, they can't attack. A unit cannot attack from 0 hit points, but they can still stay in play, capture positions, grab objectives, hold positional, obstacles, and there can be some various threats. Like if your unit occupies a ballistae tower, you might still be able to use the ballistae even if you can't functionally attack. There might be things like that in the future. For this first clash, it'll be very simplistic combat. And then, like it said, you can lose or gain morale from various things. It looks like our units have been selected. Mathros is going over the specifics of what it takes to command units, things of this is how this unit moves, this is the way they prefer to operate, things like that. But otherwise, we might be in a good enough spot to start fading away from this unit selection screen. And I do intend for there to be a new unit selection screen every time we're about to go against a combat. It will generally go, you have unit selection, 2 weeks or a month of downtime before the next warfare effort, battle, clash happens, of preparation, resource allotment, things like that, where you can focus on personal downtime stuff like crafting or proficiencies or things like in Xanathars, or you can train with your unit to give it various buffs. And that's also a thing I could just mention really quickly is in downtime, not available this first time when you're traveling over a course of 10 days or 14 days to Force Hollow. But when you have like a month of downtime in between future battles, you can train in 4 ways. You can train with weights, which increases your damage die from like a D8 to a D10 for the next battle. You can train with your conditioning, which boosts your speed by 1 for that next battle. You can train with weaponry, that increases your range by 1 for the next battle. Or you can train with the group's morale, which will give you +2 to morale for the next battle. That is a temporary buff. And if you invest in the morale training twice with the same unit type, You will then earn experience with that unit type, which could give you future advantage on initiative. Point being, I wanted these rules to be a structure, and I'll get to you in a second, Telperion. I wanted there to be a concrete structure to guide things for long term, but you guys don't by any means need to over the course of the next 2 or 3 levels, we're going to do 10 of these battles. Only if and when you want to. The Force Hollow one is a first trial run to see, is it fun for you guys? Or is it like, okay, we get what's happening on the warfare effort, but we want to be the Strike Force team. You can make that judgment call case by case. Oh, we want to do this in Force Hollow, but we want to be a Strike Force team in Elandris, and we want to do warfare effort for the siege at Atheros, but we want to do a Strike Force specific mission at Mersenia, or we want to go pursue this other tangential sort of side quest thing that we want to do. Well, the warfare is still going to be taking place in the background. You're welcome to be part of it or not be part of it, depending on what you guys find fun. And so before each of those happens, I'll make you guys aware of what unit selections are available. We can do downtime, and then we can potentially do a battle. I foresee these happening, like, if we want to do a bunch of these, each selection downtime battle might occupy a single session for, okay, we're getting on Sunday, we're going to knock out the next month of time with this army. But if you're like, whoa, I actually have a lot of things I want to do in the interim that I do want to RP through. We want to go look for this artifact or go save this NPC. We want to infiltrate Ostennis to save Jean Lavore during this month. We don't want to do the warfare effort that time. Okay, well, now we'll play through that sort of RP adventure mission over the course of a couple sessions. So point being is there's a couple different ways we can tackle all this, but we'll see in the first place how fun warfare is or isn't.
Will you just repeat? The only thing I wanted is the repeat. Weight, it adds a D what?
If you train with your group in weights, you bump your damage die size. So your unit's not dealing 4d8 anymore for the next battle. They're dealing 4d10.
And then conditioning would be like 1 speed?
Plus 1 speed.
And then range?
Weaponry is plus 1 range.
And then morale?
Plus morale training, it's like camaraderie. I really should call it camaraderie because it's different than morale. It's a +2 temporary morale for the next battle. If you train with camaraderie twice with the same unit that you're not proficient with, for example, Toby Rama doesn't have enough experience with the Terror here to gain advantage on initiative with this unit. But if over the course of 2 battles and 2 months of prep, he does camaraderie twice, he will gain experience enough to gain initiative on checks. I would say obviously that's more valuable the longer term you guys want to do battles. The shorter term, you're like, we want to do a battle or 2, but otherwise do normal D&D for the next month or 2 of our time. Well, then certain different training options or different downtime activities in total might be more appealing to you. It just totally depends on what you're looking for. But whoever emerges from this war with the highest morale as commander of the units might get like a sort of buff or at least legendary status amongst like the folklore of the people of that nation. If Toby Rama has a +6 to morale by the end of the war, there might be certain things available to you because what a legendary commander. Did you hear about that guy's exploits? Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Knowledge.
So those are the basics. We can stumble our way through the first version of this, but at the very least, we have the rest of the day to finish. Long rest if you guys want to do things. We have 10 to 14 days of travel to Force Hollow to pursue downtime things available in that range of time, but otherwise after a Force Hollow combat, should you be successful and not all die, there will be another month of downtime preparation before the army wants to move to Elandris, for example. You guys might want to do other things outside of that, but just know that the warfare army effort is basically doing things in 1 month chunks. because war effort takes a long ass time generally.
Alex, you guys are muted.
Question about initiative. Like, how exactly does that, like, is our character also going to have an action in addition to commanding the army, or is it only initiatives of armies?
It is only the initiative of the units based on your commander morale. So your Rome, you're rolling for your unit. Your initiative is you roll with advantage +1 to start out. You only gain specific actions when you in either before the warfare takes place, like you want to cast tongues so that you can speak to your unit, or during commander like infiltration. If you've injured a unit down to a point where you can attack the commander directly, then you can have normal actions, extra attacks, spells. But during outside of that, it's just the units. Number one, to keep the mechanics sort of simple, but also just because your full focus is constantly commanding them. Your action, bonus action, movement is to just be managing your unit until the commander becomes available, and then we zoom in really quickly.
And on the scale of 1 minute is a turn as opposed to 6 seconds, most of our abilities aren't going to be very impactful.
That's true too. Yeah, like for example, polymorph is actually a good example since you're bringing up the question. Polymorph is super strong, but actually polymorph's a bad example because I was thinking greater invisibility is a good example to use because it lasts a minute. You casting that in this doesn't almost benefit you at all. Even if you did it at the commander level, by the time it's your next turn, a minute has passed. You've been fighting. So like short duration spells like that don't work well. However, polymorph could work because I think its duration is like an hour. So it could be the case that over the course of the hour, you're not targeting the commander. A fucking T-Rex is targeting the commander. However, I would say you got to be able to communicate with your unit. A T-Rex can't communicate with the unit it's controlling. So communication is sort of a very bare minimum requirement. So some spells basically can provide value up front, but some might not.
I think I only really had one that seemed pretty valuable, and it's very specific, is control water, lasts for 10 minutes. So like I could theoretically do a flood each turn or something.
I would... Oh, no, so not during each turn of warfare combat. Like that's where it's like your whole attention and focus is directing and managing your people. When you zoom into the commander level unit, you can certainly try and flood them, and maybe that could affect the unit. If you guys invest attention, focus, interest, effort, resources into something, I will want to find a way to make it worth your while, or that's a meaningful choice you made. But some of them might not work. So if you cast control water up front before a battle, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get to for free move enemy unit like a space every turn or something.
I just might still be concentrating on it when it gets to a more narrowed in
yeah, maybe that might be true. Yeah. Also, keep in mind that we're trying to represent large scale combat. Like the fine-tuned subtleties of all the D&D rules aren't going to play perfectly well with this system. We're just trying to represent large scale combat, but also allow your characters to shine. So with that in mind...
I was going to say the spell I'm specifically thinking of is seeming with my group of Nora mercenaries, disguising them all as Darastians.
That could be interesting. What is seeming allowed? Is it any amount of creatures? Isn't it like only 8 creatures?
Any number of creatures you can see within range, and the range is 30 feet.
Okay, so I would say seeming would definitely be able to transform them. However, you're still starting from your position, so it still could like be clear that why are Darastians marching toward us? There's no more left in Forest Hollow.
Right.
We are the established 4 units marching on Forest Hollow. Fuck that, we're just gonna kill you guys. You're not part of our mission. So it could influence things, it could not.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in the heat of battle, if all of a sudden there's these Durashian soldiers that move through looking like Durashian soldiers, and then they're behind the enemy or something like that. I don't know. Could be fun.
Yeah, absolutely could pose a value of some sort. I'm sure there's millions of creative things you guys will think of that I haven't thought of. And in general, I'll want to reward creative behavior and tactics and stuff, but also be patient with me if I'm like, I don't think that applies here.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Well, units have been selected. I'm going to pull us to a different song. Well, for now, I'll go back to that one. But after you leave General Mathros' tent, or are at least concluded with discussions of units, you guys are, back here at the Citadel area of the Barons, and you are welcome to do what you like with the rest of your afternoon, evening, things you want to do before bed, etc.
Oh, I guess I could do this now. No, I gotta talk to Minerva the rest of the time, but I will grab Toby on the first day of travel.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you've done a good job of emphasizing that you want to spend time with her. So, and I'll just double clarify that your time with her, here with her now, absolutely satisfies the need for whatever you want to work on in the coming weeks. For this endeavor, the specific one that we've worked through, if she's assisting your theorizing about that endeavor, that's all you need. You don't need her with you every step of the way, every day, for example. I just wanted to clarify that. So just because she's not traveling with you doesn't mean her efforts didn't help facilitate your.
I'll use Toby as a little sending bot every now and then if I have a question for her.
Perfect. You'll grab Toby on the first day of travel. Sounds good. What else you guys got?
I will firstly remind Rome that whenever you have an interest, I know we're a little flustered about the vase and other things, but if you want me to cast that spell to try and divine some of your history, just let me know whenever you want me to do that. Only takes about an hour. I don't know if gearing up for warfare is the environment you envision, but if it is, I'll be here for whatever you need.
And what exactly do you believe that would grant me?
I could learn your history, and maybe help fill in some of the gaps of your memory. I learned the entire history of this medallion, and a legendary creature such as yourself, I should be able to achieve a similar effect.
If you had time, perhaps we could start working on that tonight.
That sounds great.
We can go sit in the tree. In sage.
Welcome,
Sage Blossom.
Rome.
I'll try and ask Wild Sage Blossom to maybe stand a little still as I start sprinkling some incense. A lot of incense. And yeah, I will cast Legend Lore, targeting Rome.
Okay. You are going to cast Legend Lore on Rome, the Mytholine of Earth. I would like to preface this for everyone by saying that Rome has a bit longer history than the Forsaken's Medallion, and therefore I would like to please ask for everyone's patience because I do have a couple paragraphs I want to read.
Cool.
That have been very, thoughtfully devoted to this potential casting of this spell. And then after this, maybe it'd be a good time for a bio break. So let's resolve this legend lore, and we can take a break. Toby Rama. Almost like falling asleep and waking to a dream, as your spell spreads out and ignites, your vision darkens and fades before you see memories play out before you in reverse. In Rome, this spell draws your memories into your mind as well. Both of you see your time spent together flash before your eyes in the recent weeks since Rome's release from her vase in the Feywild. And then, still in reverse chronology, like was the case of your previous casting, Toby Rama, you see Rome standing in that witch's hut, siphoned into the Divinor vase you all released her from. You see Raga, the chain-hearted Fey witch, add this precious item to her collection after stealing it from a grand palace of emerald and crystal, while the Eladrin there are distracted. You see the same Eladrin in adventuring gear, wandering through a dark ravine triumphantly with vase in hand, before it falls or is placed into, no, pulled from, a deep dragon's hoard. The dead dragon's eyes flicker open back to life, with only the glow of the nearby moaning mushrooms to illuminate its glassy, opaque eyes. Then you see the drake in its youth stumble onto the vase in the deep recesses of the dark earth beneath the Fey's forests. Then you see the vase magically translocate, shunted away, not to somewhere, but arriving from somewhere on the prime material plane long ago when a war raged on that included humans and orcs and giants and dwarves and drow and Avariel and both devils and demons and Githyanki and Githzerai, strange yellow-skinned warriors with exaggerated features, and dark-skinned elves with gold and silver hair. You see Rome ejected from the vase, seemingly summoned from it, but no, bound to it in reverse, by a wild, long-haired Avariel man. And Rome looks like she's in pretty bad shape. She's roughly in the form you recognize, but veins of amber throughout her body and her upper torso are slowly dimming, and her form is frail and blighted. The Avariel urgently emphasizes to Rome that because her primal vessel was shattered, she is not able to heal or resume her natural form until she rests. So, they've crafted a suitable replacement for the vessel from the most powerful material they have access to: the fallen scale of the Dark God. He's urgent to plane shift Rome away to safety to recover. Then you see a surrounding force of demons from the abyss, looming on the nearby hillside, about to assault this scene, before the spell takes you back further into the past. You see in rapid flashes the various lives of Mythiline Rome, where she takes different forms than you've yet seen, and she walks beside different groups of mortals throughout history. But the visions pass too quickly, a history too vast for your mind to comprehend, spiraling into an infinite fractal of geometric shapes, natural in appearance, like roots spreading out endlessly in one direction and branches in the other. Your mind starts to numb and slowly white out, until the white softens into a beautiful prismatic wall of light, a view of the Feywild's ever-setting sun, with its tapestry of indigo and violet and magenta and amber in the background, stretching across the sky. And high above it all, a crystal-clear backdrop of bright twinkling stars that seem, all of them, to harmoniously create one image, like a cosmically large constellation comprised of every single star in the sky that forms a sort of amorphous, androgynous humanoid shape, with a distinct sparkling of stars and galaxies that implies motion, like long swaying hair. You immediately, Toby Rama, both of you hear the singing around you in these memories. No, not singing, but a lyrical language that Toby Rama is familiar with. Celestial language dances along the soft wind and says, in song, Oathbound Mytheline, fey and primal in between, dusk and dawn and stars alight, an elemental power of might. Daughter flame to fuel their soul, from child of rain a somber toll. Son of sky, boundless and free, and daughter earth to balance three. The constellation continues to sing as the stars shift, and they pull elemental fire from a great brazier and form it into a gargantuan phoenix. Then they draw water from a dark decanter, allowing it to spill and flow into the form of a great leviathan. Next, from a transparent censer, billowing incense roils and rages and expands into a vast tempest. And finally, from a clay vessel, identical in shape to the Divinor vase you know, the constellation pulls primal soil and sprinkles it over the forest. From the ground, sprouting as if many great oaks are melding and twisting into one being, a great form uproots itself from the ground. Its lower body displays massive quadrupedal legs, like the trunks of 100-year trees, and they support an upper body of a loosely humanoid torso made entirely of the wood of the Fey forests, with massive arms and a regal, if rather wild-looking, split-crowned head. Cracks throughout the upper body and torso and face allow bright, thin seams of glowing amber to shine through, indicating eyes and great veins of power. The stars continue to sing to each of the Mytheline in turn, instructing them, concluding with Rome. Earthbound daughter Rome, draw your siblings near to you. They are more fluid and more fickle, though no freer than you. Many peoples far across the varied plains for aid will call. But time after time, daughter, you must unite them all. But unite them with intention, not for just any mortal strife. For your harmonious power guards not just their life. For in death, as with dusk, suns still may rise and souls rage on. So rage, my Mytheline, 'gainst those that wish to sunder dawn. Thus Mythal hath been complete. Shepherd well, and duty meet. And Toby Rama, as the spell concludes, and you both become lucid in the surrounding space once more, Rome, you awaken with a clearer mind, with a memory of the Mythal language that binds you to your purpose, as well as the memory of your once most natural form, that of a great Gaiad. You notice the warmth of the pattern of glowing amber veins that just recently emerged on your arm, and you know that in time, you may continue to recover some fraction of the power you once wielded, even if the destruction of your original vase, your primal vessel, has permanently scarred your mind. And lastly, you gain some measure of confidence that although there will be perhaps soon a time to unite the Mytheline for some greater looming purpose, that time might not be just yet during this war of mortals at the hands of Durast. And I will paste some of that text in the chat just for posterity. But Rome, you have learned and remembered both the celestial language, which you now know, as well as memory of, though not yet the ability to form into, the form of a great Gaiad, which I will send you guys a picture of soon. Functionally, eventually, as your power returns to you, you will be able to take the form of a lesser and greater Gaiad something that will enhance your wild shapes or your polymorphs, respectively. But you don't have that ability yet. But you recall that you had that ability once upon a time. You just need to restore more of your power first.
That was awesome, Chris. Oh my god. Wow.
And we'll call it there for a bio break opportunity.
Yeah,
but
I got it all.
Holy shit.
Ivan, I was like furiously typing. Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I will specifically, I'm not going to put all of that in chat, but I will put the language of the first ever mythal in the chat.
The elves might like hearing about that too.
Good stuff.
That's awesome. Nice job.
Okay. We can come back here in a few.
Eat you, guy.
Good, I wasn't on voice for that belch. Also, it is not even close to... I just wanted a picture to have available for when this happens. I haven't cut it out or anything, but I want to show you guys the guy ad.
So you do have the reference or like the image just as
I'll wait till everyone's back to show it. But
here is a question. Warfare combat. I've reduced a unit to 50% HP. Commander is revealed. So the next time I attack it, I can deal some half damage to it. And then it says you can then engage them in standard combat.
So it's like attack phase 2. It's like you attacked, you dealt some direct damage to them, and immediately you, Tobirama, can take a turn against that commander.
You just get like a turn of combat, essentially, right after.
Turn. It won't turn into a 30-second 5-round typical D&D initiative.
Correct.
Against the commander.
Think of it as in like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings or like epic large-scale battles you've seen on screen. Like your turns are taking place a minute apart, kind of in that sense, but it's just an ongoing interactant of you're probably shooting so many arrows and he's deflecting a bunch, but during your turn, that's when the meaningful pivotal moments happen.
Interesting. Okay. So even in the commander versus
even
commander,
that minute-long spell durations don't help.
Spell is not going to be super potent. Okay, that's really important because that was what I was thinking, and it's good to now change my
Kennedy conversation.
Thought process. Well, how
do you say Kennedy conversation because we were just constantly interrupting?
No, I wouldn't even call it interrupting. You just keep going.
So I probably... Well, actually, Spirit Guardians is 10 minutes, which I didn't realize.
Okay, when I got back on screen, MJ's not here yet, but I mentioned that since when I developed that legend lore available for Rome, I wanted to have a reference for the Gaiad, what a Gaiad is. There's a bunch of reasoning I went through for why this was Rome's her original form, but this I haven't cut it out or made the small alterations I want to make to it yet, but this is the reference for a Gaiad. Let me see if it shows up here. Let me know if this pops up here.
Holy fuck.
That is what a Gaiad is.
Ooh. Wow.
That looks like Mega Orisa.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It is kind of Orisa it's centaur-like, but made from bark and tree. And instead of the blue-green insides, it would be amber. And the scale is a little off. Like the great original form of the Great Guy might have been this big, but even a gargantuan form that Rome could someday possibly earn her way to wouldn't be this big over all these trees.
Because it would be the 4x4x4.
It would be roughly a 4x4, yeah. But there's also a lesser Gaiad that would be a potential wild shape form.
Cool.
Dude, that is unreal.
Also, the poem, how long did that take you to write?
I would say I wrote it in 15 to 20 minutes, but I rewrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it. Every once in a while, I get on my phone and look through my notes and be like, I don't like the way those words sound. What's a better way to represent this information? And slowly over time, I, made more concise and correct the language I wanted to use. But
it was very cool.
Very nice, Adonia.
Appreciate it.
Fun. Yeah. Like hearing about Rome.
Oh. Okay. Well, Tobirama and Rome, you just had yourself a somewhat illuminating experience with some information in there that wasn't just about Rome. But you come to consciousness once more after the spell having been complete, and you have the evening available.
Toby, thank you for providing me with some of the detail that I'd clearly been missing.
I'm glad to help. If anything, I'm feeling a little like I feel like I'm worried we've been too familiar with you. I feel like you're such a great force of nature. I should be more reverent, or
There's no need, Toby. You're just like I. We're the same.
Huh. But so the vase that was just stolen was a replacement? Was it as good as the first?
It was sufficient. I'm very upset to have lost it, obviously, because it was able to house me between moments in time. It was not the same as my clay vase from which I was created from.
Wow.
Also, Rome, you've heard reference and had memories of him before, but you instinctively know after that vision and memory, the Avariel man who used his druidic magic to put you into the vase and shunt you away to safety to the Feywild, was Odion, who was your right-hand lieutenant during that lifetime. At least during the Sundering, when that war took place.
Was it also a detail that Consalo resembled Odion?
Not specifically in sort of general physical appearance, but he is an Avariel. Famously,
Okay.
you walked alongside Odion and other Avariel back in the time of the Sundering, when they seem to be all but lost now. Kinsalo is the only known Avariel to at least the populations you've interacted with.
Do we get this information? Does did you tell everybody? Are we all there? Was this just the two of you?
That's their call.
We did it kind of up in the branches of Wild Sage Blossom, and Toby will certainly not be the one to reveal anything. It is to Rome. He will leave it to Rome's discretion.
You see Jerry peek out from behind the tree and be like, "What are you guys talking about?"
Jerry, do you have a question that you want to answer?
Rome, you should get a new vase. We'll find you one. It can't
just be any old vase. It needs to be a vase that can contain my power, Jerry. A one that I can heal within.
A big, powerful vase. I don't know of any. Maybe we'll find one on our way.
If you find one, I can inspect it, and perhaps it'll be suitable.
Don't even think about using my bottle of Ordinaire, though.
I don't even know what that is, Jerry.
All right, good. Let's keep it that way.
I love the small thoughts of Jiri with the grand scale of Rome and how they talk to each other, and it's just like neither of you understand what either of the other is saying.
Amazing.
I will, the next time we're together, share that Divinor was very clearly stated to be from the scale of the Dark God, which lines up with the vision I had.
Where's the Dark God even located? Underground?
I believe as we know it, when it was defeated, it's corpse was sundered in Durast.
Recall from, I believe it was some research someone did on the Sundering when you were locked up in the very lavish prison cells that are the Ithilwinge's bedchambers. I think someone called for texts to be brought about histories and the Sundering, and I believe it was learned by one of you that the Dark God took a mortal wound of a grave nature and in retreat flew eastward from Durast over the Skycap mountain range, and then was lost. No idea where it flew to, whether it recuperated or rested or fell in those mountain ranges or somewhere else.
What was the range called?
the sky-capped mountain range, the very southern tip of which Roulette lives at Storm's Edge.
Oh.
It separates Belladonna and Durast.
I don't know if that was Telperion, but I think that sounds so familiar. I feel like it's he. I don't know. As Telperion, do I put together the talking about the Dark God and my visions that I was my trance terrors?
Go ahead and make a history check. And I also want Toby Rama to remind me. Do you recall the specifics of what was stated in the legend lore of the Forsaken's Medallion when an essence was shunted out of it and then you learned something else about it? I want to know what you learned from that.
21.
A dark scale became the dull gray of Divinor. Then was like crafted and had script.
That's what I wanted to hear. Was the dull gray appearance of this unassuming metal of Divinor shifted into, and in reverse chronology actually dulled from, the appearance of a deep black, but really it's not black, it's the presence of every single pigmentation all at once in Telperion. That specifically is what sort of reminds you of your visions. The looming shadow of those visions when you came back from the Feywild. One of them was a darkness so deep that it seemed to contain every color all at once. Which very different, and light and pigments are very different too. The presence of every physical color makes black. The presence of every color of light makes white. But just as a note, the material contained every possible color, and therefore represented as this dark blot against the background, as this looming draconic form moved toward you in your vision. And with all the information you guys have slowly unveiled, if that was some small leak from a previous memory into your current state of mind, that means whoever was your past self must have seen in person the Dark God, this dark, looming, draconic figure.
Scary.
And from its scales were seemingly crafted both
items,
the Forsaken's Medallion and the Divinor Vase, both of which, for some reason, dulled back in those days, almost like when freshly shed, they contained their true coloration, but apart being away from the Dark God's body, they dulled and became a sort of unassuming iron-like appearance.
And
both were suitably of important or valuable, powerful enough material to have had some sort of ritual magic bound to them.
And we know Rome got sealed inside the vase. We just don't know what got sealed inside the medallion.
Or who? Or if anything.
And although it's celestial text, the Forsaken's Medallion certainly not behaving in the same way as the Divinor Vase, which was, now that you're putting it into perspective, the intent was for Rome to be released again by Odeon. Odeon was the one who bound her with that ritual magic. So the druidic text on the vase was intentionally developed to allow Rome's release once more. You have no idea of the intentionality of the Forsaken Medallion's creation.
And then one last time, the description of what got put in, it was kind of like an array of like all colors of like bright light, like this kind of essence,
almost like a deep black, not Vanta black. Jiri's sword and the recent daggers you found are a different material. Vanta black, void like, no reflection at all, just a dark silhouette no matter from what angle you view it from. This was like a deep infinite black, but with a sort of prismatic sheen, almost like oil slick, the sort of subtle iridescent coloration that can change like a material might have if it has every color bound into it.
And that was the color of the scale, but what was the color of like what got put inside the medallion?
Of the Forsaken's medallion?
Yeah, trying to recall what I just did last night.
It's a good question.
You had used colors, but then also said it was kind of like all colors, but more vibrant than the kind of blackness.
I will say, in your interactions with the medallion, you have occasionally seen sort of drifting magic off of it. It sort of sometimes is warmer than other times for seemingly no reason. And it mostly carries a sort of, I don't know that there's a word for it, but a sort of gossamer purple cyan mixture.
Cool.
And it was similar to that color of light that was bound into it.
Okay. Oh.
But yeah, Jiri sounds like he is there in that scene asking questions if he wants to. Rome's welcome to answer or divulge or whatever you guys want to do. Toby Rama sounds like you're maybe giving information of the Divinor, the Dark God. Telperion, you're piecing that together in your mind that the Dark God is, you think, exactly what you saw in your visions or your memory leaks after coming back from the Feywild.
And then in Rome's vision, was it at the end, the mythal has been complete? Did they say the first mythal or just the mythal? I don't remember.
Famously, it was discovered somewhere that the name Mythaline was a term for children birthed of the first mythal or some such.
Okay.
All the subsequent from all of history with the original elves and Eladrin, and then into the different species of high and drow and elf or wood and mooncrest and sunborn elf, all subsequent mythals are sort of a ritual elven magic that sort of take inspiration from Corellan's mythal magic. It was a type of magic sort of passed down to the elven kind. But functionally is just a word for ritual elven magic.
To bed.
To bed.
Yeah.
You are welcome to go to sleep and end the day. Any antics anyone else wanted to sneak in there before the day started?
I have spell slots I can use to refuel my ring. Outside of that, though, I'm good.
Okay.
All good.
All right.
Jiri is going to sleep from now on. He's gonna have his flying carpet like attach its little tassels on like two branches and like sleep hammock style.
Very cool. And should you ever fall, you won't really fall. Yeah, very cool. Perfect. Okay, well, the Noras will reset up their camp closer to you guys after having been invited to your sort of campground area. Otherwise, eager to get back to their people, check in with the people at Braves Respite, and gather the remaining Nora mercenaries for a unit at Jiri's command when you guys arrive there. Otherwise, the night passes successfully. Nothing of note. After an ambush the previous night, this is a very restful night. there's no, although it's sort of a ramshackle assortment of people bringing things, there's no shortage of food. Tons of spicy sausage and mushroom soups and whatever really you could want in this vicinity to a degree. You are well fed, well rested. It is now the morning of Tyrdas, the 17th of Evening Star, as you are about to potentially head out for Forest Hollow with your respective units and General Mathros and supposedly the Beast King, although you haven't seen him yet this morning. I'm going to take a note real quick on the date. Also, Jiri, Mirage will come up to you this morning before, as you guys are packing up and gearing to leave, will approach you and say, Jiri, my friend, before you leave, I wanted a moment of your time, perhaps Rome's as well. I have been thinking and looking through my various available magical items I brought with me for sale, and I do not seem to have anything suitable for what you are requesting. However, I have ideas. This one does not participate in the practice very often. There is rarely a reason to, but upgrading existing magical items can be a fruitful endeavor. It can alter the original intentionality, save some of the time to achieve the rarity level, but it does come with a cost occasionally, and most importantly, the entire most critical part of the enchantment process is the use of exotic materials suitable for focusing the magic, or at least conducting it. With this in mind, Rome, I happen to have noticed in recent weeks, you carry a particular brooch that seems to meld in, or at least has the transmutation capability to meld into one's form and enable it or enhance your strikes with it. I believe I can upgrade or enhance this capability, but it will take some time and cost. Similarly, Jiri, I believe you had once approached me for thoughts on theoretically how to upgrade your existing wind fan. I could do the same for this. Again, it would require material and some time, but these are two upgrades, very cool, that I could perhaps take on myself to work on. Perhaps Miss Tinkerton over there, if she is within earshot, might be willing to, but I don't want to assume she's willing to dedicate her time to these endeavors. I could work on something, and in the coming months of the warfare effort, I could have them delivered to you. If this is something of interest to you, we could discuss specifics like cost, time frame, and my ideas on what exotic materials may be possible or required. What do you think?
Cool. What do you think, Rome? I like it.
How much time and would you need?
So, my first assessment of the uncommon tier magical items you both are interested in order to enhance their enchantments to a rarer tier, this process, I could get into the specifics, but basically I would save time on the process from going from nothing to uncommon, but I would still need to take it from uncommon to rare. However, because of the reworking of the weave of magic conducted through this material, it would cost the gold for both of them, but it would reduce the time. Point being, for both of these endeavors, it would take me 8 weeks of work, or half as long as if I can acquire the use of an assistant of some kind, that's proficient in the arcane process. And it would take 4,000 gold. Now, I understand this is, he winces immediately at your rejection of the idea. He's like, I understand that this is perhaps it can be dissuading at first, but I would be interested in offering some small discount if you are interested in pursuing both endeavors. I could offer them for perhaps 7,000 total. instead of 8,000 for the pair. The other issue is of the exotic components. Unfortunately, I have some ideas on things that could be suitable, but for the wind fan, I would want to replace this simple parchment with perhaps the skin of a djinn of some sort, or a cloud giant would be sufficient. Or I would charge you for it, but I could use my existing storm giant canvas of spell forms. It's an arcade, like an ancient relic that doesn't have very potent spellcasting endeavors, but is magically enhanced. I would charge you 500 additional gold because I was hoping to sell that. I could offer a reduced price to get it out of my inventory, but anyway, for the brooch, I would want either the blood, a few drops of blood from either a changeling or doppelganger, because they have very powerful transmutative properties, or similarly, the melted down scale of a black dragon. And then he just like winces and just like prepares himself for whatever you're gonna say.
Djinn skin? Why don't I just make it out of cat skin?
This one doesn't. I understand the sort of natural insult associated with my request. However, the skin of true Ginny is just ripe with magical endeavors. There have been multiple histories of artifacts crafted from the Tao stones of the Tao, or the cinders of the Ifrit. Jinn skin would be a suitable. It could be an evil Jinn. Find one you want to kill and slay. But their skin would be suitable. Their skin would be suitable for the fan's construction. Points being, there might be a world where you want to just buy a rare tier magical item for 5,000 gold or whatever someone would charge you for. This one's willing to give it to you for 3,500 plus exotic material charge.
Well, my half brother has never been a fan of me, but I think it would be fun to turn him into a fan, if you get what I mean.
Pun aside, yes,
Inspiration.
whatever means you have for acquiring these things would be suitable for my means. You're also welcome to certainly look for items that are suitable in this regard in other nations or other vendors. I just don't have the fan. I think I can achieve, and I could charge you for the use of my canvas. The brooch, I think I can enhance that brooch. I just need exotic materials, and I just don't have one of the enhanced strikes you were asking about.
I like this plan, Mirage, but there's a few issues. One, we're broke. We need more money. Two, I know where Jinn skin is. If we can get back to Jawland, I can find my dad's dead body, and we can use that also. If we can't find Drajakar before that.
Mirage, I cannot.
Just gonna take some time. Go ahead, bro.
I cannot willingly participate in your capitalist ventures. Something mortal men really only participate in. I need not, nor do I.
Hairball. Apologies. This one understands the different philosophies we stick to in our lives, and I respect your stance, even if I think it's utter cat shit. Yes, of course.
Barter with a service.
Service.
Could we maybe perhaps grant you a service in return for your service of upgrading our things?
Like a song? We'll sing him a song.
Jiri is a very good singer.
I do charge exactly 7,000 gold per song. What do you know?
This is a rather curious request. I am, of course, always open to bargaining with what you have on your persons, artifacts, items you have acquired in your travels. And I will also mention that for the 5 individuals of your particular positions on an ongoing warfare efforts, you may find a bit of coin on your travels. There are certainly treasuries to rid of coin. Sure, some needs to go to the populace to reparations and all that, but I'm sure some of it will go to the people responsible for the freedom of said cities. But a service if I could task you with a mission, other than the Tears of Modera, which
Modera.
is an ongoing mission that you forever need to be on the lookout for, I could task you with something in exchange, but it
What
would
are
be
these
such an
tiers?
amorphous concept. How could I task you with something that might not be achieved for months, years even, and I am supposed to grant you these services now?
Wait, 2 questions. What do the tiers look like again? I don't think I was there for this conversation.
Oh, my friend, the only one I own is stored within the most secure means I have possible, and I shall not bring it out here, especially with illusory infiltrators afoot. But suffice to say, even the smallest diamond of a tier of Modara would put all mithril, adamantine, even the crystal tears of some great Kirin would fail in comparison to hold up. They are exquisite beyond measure, valuable beyond comprehension, utterly priceless. This one hopes to find 2 more in his lifetime.
What do they do? Do they have magical abilities?
It is perhaps one of the most potent spell components this one has ever laid eyes on.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on it. What's the quest you want us to go on? We're pretty good at quests.
This one needs to think about it for just a moment. You all continue with your day, and I will, before you step away and lead your forest journey, I will task you with something. I have a few opportunities I want to seize.
All right, well, otherwise, I'm still interested. I'm going to start saving. And I have to, I don't know, spend less money somehow and save up.
I will also save some gold.
Okay. We're going to have to go on a diet or something like that. I don't know. We don't spend a lot of money to begin with.
I could ask my forest creatures to collect some gold from the forest.
Yeah.
Maybe a traveler that has dropped some.
I'm also thinking we're probably going to like rob a bunch of Durastians, so we're going to be rich soon. I know it.
You know what? I have prioritized quickly in my mind, and I have the task I would like to set your party on. If and when you all find yourselves in Belladonia someday, journey to the Salen coast. There are rumoredly ruins of an ancient people tucked away and hidden from sight, accessible through some parts of the coast. This one only knows because he has a contact he trusts this information is reliable from. Is actually the same contact that made these available, and he produces his beautifully intricate long crystal key that has various like sort of jutting out components, which you all know he used for the apparition of the Mirage Arcanium. Anytime he wants that, he conjures it out of thin air with this key. His last name may be suitable for locating him, but he may have disguised his steps. Look up the name Sothis and journey to the Salen coast and retrieve for me whatever his latest fascination is. As long as he is willing to part with it.
Tell me more about this Sothis so we know who to look for. What does he look like? Also, do you got like a code word, like a secret handshake or something like that?
This one does not. You must figure that part out yourself, how to make introductions. You're welcome to use my name, but I suspect finding him and the ruins may be the difficult part of this endeavor. He is a shape-shifting man. So finding him may be more difficult than you realize. So I cannot tell you with confidence what he looks like. But his mind is what I am interested in. He pursues various interests of very heightened creativity. See what he is working on. See if he's willing to part with anything for my use.
Wow.
If you vow to me in this moment, Jiri, Jarl of Jarland, that you will do this, I will begin to work on both of your items for no cost.
Ooh. Oh, I definitely promise.
Should you fail me someday of my determination on time frame, just know I have ways to protect my wealth.
But
go ahead and just make a general persuasion check during this endeavor.
Oh gosh.
Plus 12, plus 12,
Was there
plus 12, plus 12.
at the end of that?
You are very persuasive, which is what enables this to happen. He will take from you your wind fan, and Rome, he will take from you your Banewood brooch and upgrade them for no charge. But yes, you did detect a hint of some version of a threat at the end of that, should you not fulfill your end of the deal.
Barrage, we've got a ton of quests, so like give me a time frame. How long do I have before you'll send, I don't know, your cat assassins after us?
This one understands that the war effort will take your attention for the coming months. I don't expect you to venture straight into the heart of Belladonna and adventure around the coast, stumbling and poking and prodding at things until you find a lost civilization of ruins. Let us put it at in a year's time. Have you not delivered some measurable progress on this endeavor of this one's own judgment, you may encounter a different side of Mirage that he has never needed to show you before.
A year and a day.
A year and a day.
It's more poetic.
Indeed it is.
Gonna leave it to the last day.
Indeed it is. And that's what tips your persuasion check from a 25 to a 26 is he recognizes a fellow storyteller of tales and he appreciates, you're right, a year and a day sounds a lot better.
All right,
but, so
guys?
both of you keep them in your inventory, but both of you do not have access to the wind fan and the Banewood brooch. But he will, over the course of some time, 2 months is maybe not that many sessions in this warfare effort. If we play our cards right, you will have those items upgraded.
That's so true. This is the time.
What is the date today?
Today is Tyrdos, the 17th of Evening Star.
So the 18th of next year's Evening Star.
Go. I'm ready for some battling.
Dude, yes.
Perfect. Okay. Minerva will grab you before you leave as well, Roulette, to make sure you're all set on. And you know this, and you're not going to forget that part, and just like making sure, as she's not going to be able to have her spellcrafting buddy near her anymore, that you're good to go, that she can let you do your own thing, and you're going to make that check when you make it. And otherwise, you guys are welcome to begin your travels. Is there any final things you want to do before we leave the Citadel and the Barrens behind us for probably quite a long time?
One day before, like, I want this to be like vague in the timeline.
Sure.
Talpiri or Jiri You see a version of yourself walk into the tent that you're in at some point.
Oh, whoa. Looking good there, other Jiri. What's up?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to
Go to
show
like
you.
shake its hand.
I wanted to show you my bottle of Orin Air.
Oh, sick! I got one just like that. Where'd you get that one?
Well, I took it from your pocket.
Oh wait, that's my bottle of ordinaire.
Yeah.
That's it. You're going down. And then he tries to tackle.
Yuri, you fool. It was never plundered from your pouch. You still have yours on you.
I'm gonna make a performance check to try to trick Jiri into thinking I'm actually him.
Perfect. Roll performance.
13. I just wanted to do it.
Insight.
Yeah, insight. Yeah.
I need you to win. I have no plan. I just needed to do
He tries to tackle you.
I think as you tackle me, I'm not good at concentrating on spells yet, and you like disrupt me enough that it fades away. You see Telperion. No, I'll do an athletics. Never mind. How can I pass that up? 20 something. 25.
So Jiri dives at you at like a tackle dummy, and you just don't budge, and he's like trying to push and push.
Except I don't budge, but then the spell does fizzle, and it's just me in my armor.
Oh.
I could do that spell now, Jiri. I just did a combo of our voices.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna prep it all the time, but
that's gonna really work really well against the Durastians because they're way dumber than I am, so they'll definitely get tricked.
That's true. They have NPC brain.
Yeah, Telperion. You know why you and I get along so well?
Why?
Because we're both like kind of contradictions, you know? Like we both have really big muscles, but also really big brains. Most people only have like one or the other.
True. Very true. I'm thinking of your 8 intelligence score.
And an 8 strength.
That's all I needed. I just had to mess around with that spell while low stakes.
Perfect. But in final prep, you guys are able, that happens at some point on the travel, but you guys are beginning your traveling venture. At this point, I would like everyone, actually, you know what? Who is leading the trajectory journey?
I'm always interested in helping us get to where we need to go. I know I am skilled at it.
You are skilled at it, and you've definitely been there enough times and from this direction. Go ahead and roll survival real quick. Very adequate to not lose time on the journey. Should you have rolled really low, there's a situation where Duras could have gotten there before you, and it could have changed the battlefield a little bit. However, you guys begin to make your roughly 10-day journey with an army at your back toward For's Hollow through the Emerald Forest with General Mathros at your side, and you actually don't see the Beast King with you, even though it was stated by Mathros that he would accompany you. I would like to offer this 10-day journey for you to all sort of state a thing or two you want to do. It can be interacting with people. It can be a thing you want to mechanically achieve. What are you guys, and some of them might give tangible benefits, some might not. That it's just, we're going to handle this in a small amount of in-session time, so it doesn't have to come with mechanical benefit, but it's possible it could. But what are you guys interested in doing over the course of this 10-day journey?
Can I do something very, 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 very quickly before we leave? Sure. Can I have, because I'm assuming we have like a few days. Can I go to Korak?
You have the one day before you guys were tasked with leaving tomorrow. But yeah, during the final day.
I'm going to go to Korak and see if he can teleport me back to, I think it was Korital, wherever I promised to put on a Skyball game in a month.
Indeed.
And I want to just go back, see if he'll take me back, and then just like play Skyball with them for a day. Or I don't know, a few hours, let's say. Is that possible? because this is the only chance I feel like we have to go back, and I feel like that was about a month ago.
I think Korik will apologize, but say that he will make sure they are notified that will need a rain check. But he is like, unfortunately, it is too powerful of magic for me to use for essentially an errand of such a nature. He needs to maintain that for Beast King's travel, for other Seneschal's travel. 2 uses of a 6th level spell slot like that, I think he's gonna say is not possible.
All right, I'll be like, yeah, just let him know that we'll be back eventually. We'll play Skyball. Don't worry.
Of course, dearie. I will make sure they are notified. I will certainly be back in Koratal, perhaps on the morrow myself. I will make sure it is known, and perhaps with gained reputation, you will have an even greater audience when you are able to conduct such an event.
Thanks, Korik. Definitely smooth things over. I know everybody was super excited.
Indeed.
All right, that's it.
Very well. You guys begin your journey. What are you guys interested in doing?
I would certainly like to spend most of my time that I'm not navigating helping with cooking for at least my unit. It's a lot of people, so I'm sure they're eager for extra hands, and trying to just be down to earth with the Terra Corps members and try and establish that it's not some random dude acting like he can give orders. I'm going to try and ask them how they like to engage in combat so I can lead them more effectively, and just try and be very down to earth and help them with stuff.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a charisma check as part of that endeavor over the course of your days traveling.
Okay. Is that something I could use a medallion look point on?
If you're using it every single day,
kind
to
of
make sure you're as likable as possible from this group of people.
Or
Luck point really is more of an ability check, and attack roll a moment thing, whereas this is almost an above table, like a time frame long check.
Sure.
So, fuck it. You know what? Use the luck point. You're using it every day, but yeah, go for it.
Better. I wanted to get the 10.
Okay. Perfect. Who else wants to do something over the course of this travel?
2 things. One, at some point while Toby is not cooking or navigating, I will present Toby with the picture that little Ira Middletop drew of my father. Ask the question of, could you send a message to someone who you just kind of know the likeness of, or what they look like?
Gimme. Where is it? Let me read.
I'm going to preemptively give Toby Rama a religion check based on wisdom. Use your wisdom, but it's a religion check.
No proficiency, so just a wisdom. With which you are familiar. That's pretty difficult.
Not sure.
I didn't have any luck, I don't think, with sending one to Minerva the first time Telperion asked me to. I'll certainly give it a shot. I mean, we're on the move. I can give it a try.
Okay,
so if you've got a message you want me to send.
And I'll tell you. So the message. By the way, this is my dad. This is Ernest.
Nice to meet you.
Oh no!
Holy shit!
Nice to meet you. I'm Ernest Snickerton.
You psychopath.
I picture Telperion's hand behind the picture.
And I'll just tell you the message to send is this is Toby, because I've already introduced you via letter, so he knows who you guys are. Roulette got your letter. Please stay safe in the big city. She's excited to capitalize once back in Storm's Edge.
I will cast sending and send that message to what I know is Ernest Tinkerton, who it looks like a rough idea of who they are.
You send out the message, and almost like shouting in a forest, you just have no way of knowing if it immediately made purchase in their mind. And you do not get a response.
Roulette, we can solve this. I will attempt to scry on Ernest Tinkerton.
Oh.
Because having a likeness helps with the save, and maybe if I see them specifically, that might help.
Okay.
So they would have a +5 from a secondhand target, but a -2 from having a likeness or picture. A creature I choose on the same plane of existence. They make a wisdom save.
Toby, hold off on that. Let me. I might chat with R once we get back. See if I can get maybe a better picture or something. Or I might just send him a letter. Yeah, no need to use magic on that just yet. I appreciate that though. Maybe he got the message and he's wary of some of the, I guess, more the spiritual magics anyway, so may not have responded to anything. Thank you. That's it for that. And then I will spend 7 or 8 of the days deep in my books in spellcrafting. What I will ask, I'll ask Rome. I'm not going to go into voices for this. Rome, what's the fastest creature you've got here in your fauna parade?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say one of the flying creatures. One of our flyers would be the fastest.
Hold up, Loaf. Do you need a messenger or something? And then I drop him, and he just kind of poops on the ground.
Oh no, this is for a bit of training for something I'm working on and with Daisy. And Jiri, you're free to help out until Tyrion if you wanted to. And basically what I will be doing is I will be taking a lot of notes, and I'll have like some sort of artificer stopwatch. And I'm basically just going to have Daisy sprint chasing after people, and I'm going to be so Daisy's speed is 40 feet at base, and I will make Daisy chase after you and then try and bear hug you from the back, whether it's the animal or Jiri or you. Daisy's gonna be chasing after you and then just like running up and hugging you from behind, and it's just a quick montage of me writing down figures and watching Daisy's movements and maybe casting haste on Daisy to watch her go super fast. And yeah,
very scientific method of experimentation.
Yeah.
Are you willing to contribute the gold cost for this endeavor through experimentation and the trial and error of components being utilized and the inks being consumed from wrong equations, or that's not quite right, or just other means of cost going into this endeavor? 1,000 gold.
Loaf gives you the help action.
Yes, I am 100% willing, and I imagine it was a lot of like mechanical stuff and magical greases and oils and inks that I got from Mirage to use for this one.
Okay. If you are willing to reduce your gold by 1,000 gold, you can make an intelligence check.
Oh
God.
Oh God. Loaf really gives you the help action on this intelligence check.
And to clarify, the DC for this is 16.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Is there any world where an enhance ability could have been cast.
Indeed.
By
Indeed.
me
Similar to
or
the
what?
luck situation, yes, that is fair game.
Critter, I forget what we said in the text. So I know enhance ability, I'd be dumping those into it today, or each day. Do I also get the +4?
Yep.
Okay.
Flash of Genius can apply.
So it is going to be a
Advantage plus like 9.
intelligence +8. I'm scared. So it is.
What's your bardic die?
This +4. Oh, I also do have a bardic die that I
You're
forgot.
very likely, I think, to succeed here. Even on a...
Baldur's Gate 3 has taught me that even this is not guaranteed.
Ooh.
Before results are announced, do you want to dump additional things into this check at all that you have available?
I have 2 points of inspiration. I am going to use one of them to re-roll the 7 or the 3 to see if I can get a nat 20. So I will just roll once more.
Dude,
No.
So the 19, is that a true 19 or is that a 23 because of Flash of Genius?
It is a 23 because of Flash of Genius, and I will, for shits, I'll actually dump the Bardic into there to make it a 27.
Oh my god!
You did not need a nat 20 because with these checks, 25 or higher is the highest amount of success. Your spell completes as intended, except for your extra experimentation with his speed has made it will be 10 instead of 5.
Oh, so you got 10 more speed?
Thank you.
So I will make that adjustment to the spell that I have here, and otherwise you are welcome to use the spell description. I haven't changed it since I sent the draft to you.
I have it open yet. So.
Okay, perfect. So same thing as that, but it's 10 instead of 5, and you have that available to cast now.
Dude, Roulette is so much the Caleb of our group, where she does such cool things but won't reveal them until they're appropriate to show up.
That is all I got for our little travel time.
Very well. Who else wants to tackle something in downtime while traveling?
Rome will be instructing her creature army, but also just like creatures that she meets to pick up any gold that they may find that other travelers may have dropped.
This is my favorite. Oh, that Rome just thinks there's enough gold lying around to be me.
That is actually amazing. I'm gonna consider this. I think I want to do like carousing, but with wisdom based on animal handling instead of like a charismatic type deal. Let me look up this really quick because I love this. Let's see.
So
I mean, Rome's intelligence is pretty low. Maybe naive to.
Yeah, but you're outsourcing. A good manager knows how to delegate.
I mean, like, am I gonna go run around looking for gold?
Smarter than you.
Gold's from
Running
the
around
earth.
looking for
You've
gold.
got every reason.
I am nearly there. Okay, here we go. Where's the resolution check? Yes, go ahead and please make a animal handling check. Or really, it's more of a
Roll again.
no, that's great. The 14. We'll do it based on that. So go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll for each day spent traveling. 10 days. Go ahead and roll 10d10.
10d10.
You gain 44 gold from all the efforts of your animals scuttering around and finding little copper pieces tucked up away in the root of this tree, and oh, there's a person that has a silver on it. And like, so over the course of these 10 days, as they just spread out like a radius around you, they gather you 44 gold.
Hell yeah.
That's really cool.
I give them crumbs every time they bring me gold. Berries and stuff.
How about Jiri and Telperion? Anything specific you guys want to do on your travel?
I would like to spend a lot of time with my Nora crew, like entertaining, working with them, working on like training and that kind of stuff. Like, and specifically fighting with Rome's creatures as well. Like, I want to try to train with the animals if Rome will do that with me. But like, and like the tree, you know what I mean? So like, having the Noras like climb up in the tree and like shoot arrows from it, or like, I don't know how else they would fight with the animals, but I'm sure we'd figure out ways for them to like team up together.
It's like when my army moves in, it's like in a particular terrain. You know what I mean? Like it's like guerrilla warfare. We know the terrain, so when you enter our space of like creatures, we have the home field advantage.
Guerrilla warfare.
There could be something to that. Jiri, give me 2 separate charisma checks. One, just give me one. This is for your sort of more specific, just camaraderie type interactions with Noras, and the second for the more specific, I would say, higher DC challenge.
Would this be a performance? Is my question for one of them, because I am putting on the show.
You're welcome to do a performance check for the camaraderie, not the training aspect.
Gotcha.
Okay. Got it. And then just make a general charisma check. Both really good. With the 20, I'm not going to say the 18 yet. With the 20, I will say that the training goes well enough that if the Nora mercenary unit takes the attack unit action while overlapping with a space of Fauna followers, you can add an additional D8 to the attack. That's fairly situational, because you're gonna, in order to maneuver, you have to use the bonus action on the maneuver ability. So your bonus action moving into one of her spaces, attacking, but then you can't end in her space. Okay. But if you do that successfully, it'll increase the Nora's damage.
It'll double it, technically.
Also, I'm going to separate this. It's not just from the Fauna Followers unit. It's from whatever unit Wild Sage Blossom is attached to. Because as a reminder, you guys can choose to attach Wild Sage Blossom to any unit prior to combat, and that unit gains the Siege property. So whatever unit Sage Blossom is attached to, the Noras can use this feature with that unit. Mm-hmm. I sort of assumed that would be Rome's unit for this first skirmish, but it could be attached to other units if you guys want. But it doesn't have to be attached to the Fauna Followers. But if you attack from a Treant unit, they get the, while overlapping the Treant unit, they get an extra D8. Sort of situational, but it could be valuable.
I'm imagining that's like swinging from the tree, you know what I mean, to other trees, and like, you know, like everybody like lowering a rope down out of the tree really quickly and getting out of it, that kind of stuff.
Or even advantageous positioning, aiming downward from the branches of a tree. I know it's giving you advantage, but it's advantageous, quote unquote. So noted. How about you, Telperion?
So Telperion is hanging out with the Celithar. Specifically, if they're available, if there were like people that had been like training to be Crescent Knights who were like I would like Telperion would try to gather anyone from his order to be in his troop. And before I keep going, is that
I will say you identify even here on screen that up and pretty far up into the left, pretty much due left from the main Citadel moot ground, is Vanya Duskvale, your Crescent Knight scout leader, talking with various Selithar, and you do identify that there are two of your fellow Crescent Knight trainees, novices, in that group. Not all of them came here, but two of them did. And although Vanya Duskvale is planning on heading back to Athenian, the Moonset Grove, and not going to Force Hollow right away, these two are willing to stick around with the units of Selithar available. So you are able to gather a couple of the Crescent Knight novices to be part of your unit that you want to command.
perfect? And then kind of like these other ones, I'm going to be spending my time with a unit. Specifically, I'm going to be teaching the Selithar, like, so we fought this kind of enemy before. We're talking about bird folk, like we're used to in the forest, aiming up at the trees, being ambushed. This is like, and then I'll kind of go into what Telperion learned from leaving the Emerin and combating different, like humanoids with different fighting styles, different armor types. Like he's fought a lot of Durastians too. He knows how they move, their tactics, and so like kind of prepping the unit for a new kind of combat and a new kind of enemy, and helping them train to like learn these new like he'll be able to say like, you know, we've always done it this way, but here's why I learned early on when I left the Emerald not to do it that way. Because like he would have been, I like to think of one of the reasons why he was like a level 1 fighter at the start of this, and like partly like it could be a little bit of like he was worse at fighting. Like he had never seen so many of these different types of things he'd seen. So trying to like educate the crew.
Yeah, you were a adept fighter in your own right from 174 years of life and training and stuff. But yes, you're exactly right. The fish out of water scenario, if you weren't trained against these types of individuals, sort of lends to the sort of justification that you were a lower level, as well as your burgeoning psionics. Go ahead and make a persuasion check, but you can use your intelligence because with your new position as tactician, your martial mind and strategy, I think that justifies intelligence on this check.
So yeah,
I don't think you're proficient in persuasion, so it's basically just an intelligence check.
Do any of my new level 1 spells help with this?
Silvery bars.
There's only a 6 plus 3. What? Oh, I have an inspiration. And I have my bardic. It's an 8.
It's a 9.
Juicy.
It's a 9.
Because you said 6 plus 3.
No, well, I have a cold 9 plus, yeah. So a cold 6 plus 3 is 9. So 9 plus 8 is what?
17. That's not bad.
Is it worth my bardic? Is it worth my bardic? Is it worth my bardic? I wanted to use. You know what? I'll just let it be a 9.
Okay. Understood. They seem receptive to your authority, your new position. They're struggling to understand without experience. It's hard to read a textbook and understand new tactics of a different kind of enemy. So they struggle a little bit with the learning aspect of it. But they definitely give you the sort of respect and authority that you have earned in their culture and here amongst this army. So, okay.
That's all for me.
Chris, did anything happen with the performance check?
I was going to get to that as soon as Telperion's concluded, because the three of you that invested some time into interacting with your units that you want to command, you guys got a chance for a check. Tobirama and Jiri, you did succeed that check. You will get an additional +1 to your morale.
Neat.
So each of you are at a +2 morale right now.
Dope.
Because everyone starts with a +1.
Right.
All of you are starting with a +1.
Cool.
And again, that's a sort of permanent modifier on your character as a commander and their reputation and respect in this army.
And I'm trying to remember, sticking with
and doing a camaraderie training could give you a temporary, more potent morale boost, as well as you do that twice and you now gain advantage. So Telperion, even though it's hard to raise morale for teaching them about a new type of enemy that they haven't experienced, you still have advantage because they trust your decisiveness as an elven leader that they know. You have experience with your unit. Rome, you have experience with your unit. Jiri is the one who has experience and a higher morale right now.
Ooh.
So, but we can't do
combinations of that stuff.
That special training is usually done like in between battles.
Over the course of a month, you can do a camaraderie training. You can basically pick one of 4 categories to try and buff your unit. But that's more of if you don't want to craft something over 4 months, or you don't want to carouse for 4 months for gold. That is, hey, if you don't want to do these downtime activities, you're welcome to invest it into your unit instead.
Gotcha. One month of Rome's creatures spreading through the Emerald.
Rome no longer accepts loot. She just goes and finds her own.
Okay. Well, with that, 10 days of travel will go by, and we will come near the forest edge, or actually at Brave's Respite. You guys will take a detour at Brave's Respite. You're welcome to discuss various things with them if you want. The Noras are excited to gather the remaining Noras to flesh out a full unit of 25 individuals. Fennin is eager to join this effort. So Fennin, Yuri's mom, will join the Nora mercenaries in this. The other Wood Elves will stay with Yuri and the other citizens at Brave's Respite. Is there anything meaningful you guys want to interact with the populace of Brave's Respite here? Okay. Jokel will join the Noras. Rebecca, Bullwinkle, some of the flagship names of the Noras will join and be part of this Nora mercenary unit, Jiri. So some of the classics. Otherwise, we'll just sort of zoom into the situation at hand. Mathros will be the one to come collect you all and say, it sounds like the Terracor scouts have finally received word from their bird folk and transformed scouts throughout Croatia, and we finally have the intel we need to move. Durast is about 2 miles out from the front gates. We have made it here just in time. The important thing here is to hold the gate of For's Hollow. We'll be able to set up in front of the gate before Durast arrives. There are 400 individuals, it would seem, at Durast's command. 4 separate units of Durastian infantry. We have not been able to scout the commanders of each unit, but there are 4 of them. Their primary objective will be to take the gate of For's Hollow. If that falls, they will be able to disseminate into and around the city and likely have more training than we do in this national topography. Our goal will be to take down all 4 of their commanders. If we destroy their units entirely, so be it. But if we can take down the commanders, their units alone will lose morale and disperse. Some fleeing, some we may be able to capture. The important thing is breaking their resolve. Our goal, and looks around at all of you, defeat 4 commanders. We lose if they take the gate. Very well. At arms, take positions.
That's my dad.
As a reminder, we will be lying in wait at the forest edge. We will jump in only if as needed. This, I think we have amassed suitable quantity of soldiers. Your odds seem favorable. We want you to get this experience, and we can come in for the close if we need be. Otherwise, I'm not planning on engaging. Very well. Perhaps the Beast King will come give us a visit, should he like what he sees. Son, Forsaken Wynds, make us proud. you'll also notice that in the approaching winter months, and now we're in the thick of winter, there is a light snow on the ground.
Tony.
Ooh, I wish it was actually snowing outside as I look
No.
at it.
Whoa.
As we move into this battlefield,
Oh my god.
now that selections have been made, I'm gonna move people onto their respective situations here.
Ooh, can I form up on the right side next to Rome's troops?
I'm going to say for this very first one, we're going to line up as is, just so I'm not scrambling. But in the future, yeah, there can be a stage where there might be like a starting line. Like you can't move your guys past this line, but laterally you can organize how you want. We will do that next time for sure.
Got it.
I have cast 3 action spells on the way to preparing.
In general, yes. Also, just before we get started, you see, after a few moments, the approaching 4 different units of Jurastian infantry. You guys set up accordingly, and you will also see... Oh, I need to make the units movable by you guys. Apologies, one moment. You'll also see behind you guys the Forest Hollow Gate. Failure in this regard is if Durast occupies both of those spaces at one time, the gate is taken and you lose. You guys have to win by defeating all 4 enemy commanders.
Which is it? Just like the bottom middle 2 spaces?
Yes.
Like that?
Thank you.
We've got Rome, or Roulette. We've got Toby Rama.
Oops.
We've got Telperion. We've got Rome.
Oh, you can just highlight the whole thing.
And we've got Jiri. Yeah, that's what I would recommend, is just highlight the whole thing to move your person and the unit at once. I think permissions have been enabled, so you guys should be able to move now. But yes, what 3 spells are you casting, Toby Rama? And is there other spells that people want to cast before combat?
I would have planned to cast Death Ward on 3 different commanders. And if you guys feel differently, I was going to do myself, Roulette, and Rome. I know Telperion can cloak, and I know Jiri can be ignored if he's near someone. So hopefully keeping us commanders up will get us extra.
I have the cloak, if you're talking about the Cloak of Griffin's Rebuke.
Cloaking feature of a unit.
Never mind.
So
we should acknowledge that, though.
Roulette, myself, and Rome have Death Ward.
Beautiful.
Roulette, Rome, Toby, Death Ward. Got it. Other spells being cast ahead of combat?
We would probably talk about this when we were preparing for the battlefield, but is there any benefit to me disguising my army during this combat, or do we think save that
Probably
for different?
They're welcome to guide you in one direction. I will just give you the information that's probably case by case and probably pretty niche application of that.
Right. I guess I was asking the group more so.
Toby would say that I think in the heat of battle, whether or not that's a good idea will show itself. I don't think leading with the false front will be as effective as maybe in the midst of the chaos, activating it and seeing if that can give you any sort of an advantage. Would be my
notably you would only be able to do so when actual action economy is available during a commander attack.
Okay.
I will cast. I'll just say out some Elvish, which I don't have prepared right now, and put my fingers up here, and when I open them up, there's like this like faint like blue-white stars that are kind of like over my eyes, and I like to think that like a little bit of that reflects up in my antlers too, the like horns coming up, and I cast Gift of Alacrity on myself.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, that will unfortunately not affect your unit's initiative.
Right. I didn't know if it would affect my commander if it
Your
gets
commander, we could get into that, but it will not. You attack immediately after your unit's turn, almost as part of your unit's turn. So unfortunately, Gift of Alacrity just won't necessarily benefit.
Nice spell, Telperion.
Yeah, even though Critter hates me, my spell looks cool.
That is absolutely what's going on.
It definitely looks cool. You can tell that you are more ready than usual for decisive action.
What about Puffy Armor? Because it lasts an hour. Can I cast that ahead of time?
You're welcome to cast that, and it can apply in commander battles, certainly.
Cool. All right, Jury will be all puffy, as he would need to be for a battle, so yes.
Okay.
Just wading through his unit. Like, all right, guys, we're going this way.
I'll say, I will look to Telperion, nice spell. Jerry, looking great. And I'll shout behind me and says, "Time to sync up, little lady." I don't even know what the components, verbal and somatic. I don't have the cloak on at the moment for flavor wise, but you will all see essentially what Daisy was doing the entire time while she was practicing. She was running at all of you, but now she's running at me. And like 10 feet before she gets to me, she will seemingly explode. And her limbs go long, her legs go long, and she goes into what looks like an exoskeleton and hits up on the back of Roulette's body. And all of the metal parts clamp on to her back, her arms, her legs. And Daisy's little robotic head turns into like a top little helmet on top of Roulette's head, and then cast my new spell called Steel Sync.
Oh,
Steel Sync for the first time activated. Beautiful.
And you see a bit of magic just coursing through it, but essentially Daisy has formed an exoskeleton over Roulette's body. And then I will put the cloak of Griffin's Rebuke on, which I've already whatchamacallit attuned to.
A very custom spell unique to Roulette and or Battlesmiths. The Steel Defender has merged onto Roulette's form and has granted various benefits throughout the length of the transformation.
That's awesome. Oh man, custom spell. How long have you been waiting on that one, Steve?
I just finished it. And then I will also cast Skywrite. I have no idea what I'm gonna cast or say, but it will be it'll just be like up in the air and it'll say just Gallus.
Oh. 4 wins for life.
Yeah.
4 wins for life.
4's hollow.
Well, no, but it's not 4 like the number. It's 4 like screw it. Perfect.
It's
any other fine-tuned things? Otherwise,
Spell revealing ring.
Okay.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Are each of these squares 100 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
Which it ties into your movement speed. You're covering hundreds of feet. So when it says your range is 2, that means you can move your unit 200 feet, 2 blocks.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, also, if you click on your unit now, it'll show you your hit points.
Awesome. Correct. Your movement speed, your hit points, etc. Yes.
Yeah, it's super helpful. Yeah.
I'll also have Sage Blossom in my.
Perfect. Your group of unit is more distinct than most against the horizontal horizon scape of this battle, as just from the midst of it, a bunch of animals clambering around a giant treant. Very cool. Perfect. Yeah, if you guys are able to move, go ahead and move. No forward movement yet. Let's roll initiative and see how this goes.
Yeah.
We have to be where we were.
So how would you like
Critter
us to
said
do
yes.
this? Because you don't want us clicking on our initiative, correct?
So it's just so that's a great point. Go ahead and click your unit, and then go into the advanced dice roller and do a d20 plus whatever your morale is. That's what I'll be doing for the Durastian units.
What are we doing?
Rolling initiative.
So a D20.
Plus your morale.
And we have a base morale of
+1. And you, Telperion, get advantage on initiative, as do Jiri and Rome.
Wait, so I'm just rolling a d20 +1.
Yep, and that is your initiative for your unit.
Oh, yikes. Well, that'll be a 6.
Okay, so unfortunately, the lame part of all this is it's not sending it to the tracker, so I do have some work to do.
Some work to do. Did I roll 2? I rolled a 2 19s. Huh.
Okay. To make this easier on myself, I'm adding Roulette's unit first. Roulette, what was your initiative?
17.
Got it.
17.
Toby's next. What was your initiative? Oh boy.
Mike, I can tell
Toby,
you.
what was your initiative?
I got a 10.
Telperion, what was your initiative?
20.
Did you get the same roll twice?
I'm moving Jiri for a second. Jiri, what was your initiative?
Also 20.
Damn.
Nice.
Rome, what was your initiative?
6.
6.
Hard to corral all those
Yeah.
those beasts.
They're all like, we were getting gold, like you said.
Okay, where was my first roll? Oh, I rolled a nat 20 for that unit.
Yeah, I
Fun.
saw that.
Can I take your order, sir?
Can I take your head?
May I take your head, sir?
And then second one was a 19. Look at me rolling well.
Telequat? Well, literally gonna murder all these people.
Oh my god, the Dewastians?
All of the Dolastians.
Then that one was the 9.
Murder.
Unironically, that's how Ryan Kennedy used to talk. He used to do W's for R's.
Oh my gosh.
Then my final one was a 7. So now I should be able to sort descending, and as combat starts, Tactician, what change would you like to make?
Oh man. Where's Roulette?
Time.
17.
Let's bring Rome up.
Yeah.
Bring Rome up. Snap her before or after you.
I'm gonna have her. I'll have her go. I'll have her go before.
Very well.
Dude, nice.
You hear shouting in the distance as the first unit to move will be Durast. And I just need to make sure I'm on that tab.
Is that mud to the left?
Here we go. Yes, but for the purposes of this very first easy combat, there's actually no difficult terrain on this map.
Yet.
Is useless.
Durast will move and will dash to move again. Then you will see them form a defensive position as they take a bonus action, defend. It is Jiri's turn.
Oh gosh. Jiro will be like, charge. He'll dash forward.
Okay.
Charge.
2 spaces to start. Dash.
Yeah.
Okay. Defend, maneuver. You could dash again.
Ooh, let's not get too risky. I will defend.
Okay. Rome.
I am also going to dash. I'll also dash.
Okay. So you should be right next to Jiri at that point.
Cool.
Anything with your bonus action, Rome?
Well, wait, so I could attach. We could attach with our bonus.
Yes, you can use your swarm ability if you would like.
Do
Okay,
it.
I'm gonna use the swarm ability and attach myself to Jiri.
Oh, you don't attach
No.
you to him. You're gathering additional wildlife creatures
get
that
bigger.
rush to your side.
Oh, that's
Basically,
all I thought it was like literally attaching.
no, you another unit attaches to you. So this
should get
new
wide.
unit here on screen.
Yeah.
Get okay,
wide.
I misunderstood that. Yes, I will be swarming.
Yeah, you can slowly grow throughout combat. Do you want it in front of you, behind you? Here, I'm gonna make it available for you to move.
I'm just gonna put it beside me.
Perfect.
Whoa.
Perfect.
She's going wide.
I'm going one way.
Dude, that's so cool.
Cool. Telperion.
Okay. So I can move 2. 1, 2. And then I can move another 2 if I dash.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I have to go. I want to go this way, actually.
You're welcome.
But does that fuck Toby?
You can use the arrow keys.
He can still go straight. You guys cannot overlap each other unless you have a feature like flying or maneuver that lets you overlap each other.
So if you went another to my left, I wouldn't be able to do much.
I'll just stay where I am then, because I want to get a little more central.
Okay.
And then I will defend.
Okay. This unit,
and
you'll see shouting off in the distance, and they will move 1, 2, dash 3, 4, and defend. Roulette.
Action dash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. Oh my god.
Yeah, he can.
Wait, you can do 8 total?
He could go one more if he wanted.
I could, but I'm not gonna.
You see Roulette enshrouded in mechanical armor of her steel defender, and she's just stepping up.
Are you just running?
Up with all of her and the Auricor birdfolk just ascend from the ground and just start booking it upward.
My speed is a 45.
And that includes your fly speed?
My fly speed is 45.
Wow.
Bonus action defend.
Bonus action defend. Toby Rama.
I do have a question. If I do my bonus action shift, is that just for the round or for my next attack?
For the rest of this round.
Okay.
Your attacks.
So there's no way. So it wouldn't let me like set up for a good attack next
round. It basically empowers the attack. You have to sort of do bonus action shift and then take the attack action to get the benefit from it. But a large unit like yours benefiting the damage die is definitely a superpower attack.
Well, let's start by moving 2, 3.
Good, I just remembered I should tell you, I have the Ring of Protection going right now, not the Ring of Featherfall.
Okay. Fair enough.
I will dash to go another 2. And then defend.
So,
and that's my turn.
Are we here yet? Not quite. 1, 2, 3, 4. Defend. 1, 2, 3, 4. Defend. It is this one's turn, and they will engage.
Oh, I need to turn this music
up
a little.
No, they can't do that, unfortunately. I do need them to do that. Oh, except for...
What do they got?
1, 2. They are not going to dash. But they are going to use their bonus action to press, which avails them of 1 additional space of movement and another thing that doesn't come into play right now. But because they are within range of Roulette's unit, you do hear loose in the distance. And Roulette, your unit will take...
I'm going to guess the answer is no, because it'll make it too complicated. Does my height factor into...
So your flying capability doesn't let you, like, fly way over them. It just allows you to pass over them. Yeah. Your unit takes 19 damage, except if you were defending, it only takes 9.
9. How do I...
Where are we tracking that?
You should be able to track
your
it on
units
the
that you can
square.
click on have your health and numbers all.
So you can enter a new value, and then
it's the red circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Critter, what does 3 range mean in this?
Means
Like-
you can attack 3 spaces away.
So they're
Diagonal?
Movement is 2.
No,
No diagonals in this.
you have to have
Only
a line of sight.
orthogonal movement in this warfare effort.
Bro, just cardinal directions.
With that,
That's all we
the
care
first
about.
move has been made. Jiri, it is your turn.
You guys are muted, though.
Jiri's army is gonna move up 1 space and hunker down in a defensive position. I also want to note that Jiri is riding on his shag stallion. Don't forget about that.
Fair enough. Yes, which also could allow you to command the Oracore should you ever want to. Yes.
Oh,
It's in ground mode, so it's like
Okay.
it's like kind of like flowing across the ground.
Slivering.
Is
Tassels.
Jiri at the vanguard or is he leading from behind?
Oh, he's up at front for sure, front line.
Very cool. Okay.
Eh.
Moving and
yeah.
defend. Rome, your turn.
Is there a tactician thing we wanted to do at the top
Oh,
of this
that's
round?
a very good point. Yeah, so 2 turns have already happened, but Telperion, you're welcome to make another snap if you would like to.
It's really hard for me to tell who people are in this, but I'll hang on. Where's Roulette? You're 17?
It's all listed in the tracker. The units have people's
I
names
see.
on them.
If you hover over them, it'll also highlight the square.
it only shows our names, Crit, on our side.
So I can do the square thing, though.
Oh, interesting.
I'm gonna put Roulette above me.
Pulling roulette to above you. Perfect. And then that dressing infantry went, Jiri went, so Rome, your turn.
I'm also gonna move up 1. I'm also gonna move up 1, and then I am also going to grow.
Go ahead. I'm gonna put this space right here. Go ahead and attach, wherever you want to. If you want to grow out wide like that, that's great.
Oh my
Going wide.
god.
Going wide. Perfect.
Getting wide.
Roulette, your turn. Anything with move and bonus action. Okay, perfect. Yep, Roulette's turn.
1 step forward, and then I'm going to swoop in and attack for like 4. I forget how much it was. It was 4d8, I think.
4d8 for your.
Oh, it's number of
size.
squares that I am. Yeah.
Yes.
D8. See, 31. No. Only 16.
And they did not defend, so
Ooh.
they take the full damage. Got it. Okay.
And then I will 1, 2.
Yeah, noticeably, there are no attacks of opportunity
I
in
know.
warfare. It would be the front line swiping at a couple soldiers.
I will 1, 2, 3 back up, and bonus action. Yeah, bonus action defend.
Okay.
They get hit, they swoop in, and they just do a U-turn really quick.
Telperion.
I go forward 1. I go forward.
So this is what I'm saying. If you highlight the whole thing,
I know.
and then you can use the arrow keys on the keyboard to make it easier.
Go forward 2. How? Okay. So, like, I have to be here to attack these guys, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And they haven't gone yet. They're going to go 2. 1, 2. They can attack there. I can go forward. I guess I'll dash.
Okay.
I'll go 1 more. And then I will, I guess I'll just go over 1, 2. Okay. And then I'll use my bonus action to cloak.
Okay. You and your unit all swipe out your cloaks of elven kind above you and crouch, and all of a sudden, with a shimmer, the visual of you sort of is shrouded and naturally camouflaged into the snow-dusted grassland of this environment. Okay. It is this one's unit, her movement. 1, 2. Press will not get them there. Very clever. So dash, and press. Toby.
Okay. So, if I were to do boom, 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 I think I'd be out of their thing. So yeah, let's do that. I move forward 2.
Okay.
At which point I will shift and then make
Bonus
an attack.
action shift.
Bonus action shift and make an attack.
Okay.
So
9d10.
Nice.
That unit did defend, so it will be half damage.
Okay. So let's go boom. D10. The modifier roll. Nice.
Half of that is 27.
7.
7. Yep.
That was 2 of my movement. So I will move a third to the right.
Okay.
And that's my
Perfect.
whole thing.
Perfect. This unit.
Which means I'm not going
1,
to
2,
It's
press. They will prefer to target the smaller unit. Can they perceive Telperion?
Come on, baby.
Oh, I don't want to roll that, do I? I need to roll this. DC is 15, always, for that ability.
Got you.
You see them advancing towards your group, Telperion, and then you just see them all pause, scanning the environment. Ugh. And then they will turn to the larger target, Toby Rama, and attack. 4d8.
Oh, yeah. I feel bad.
Which I did not dodge. Low rolls, I like it.
14 damage to you.
That's what I rolled.
Which is 211.
Perfect.
Because I have
It'll be
225.
this one's turn. 1, 2. They will also attack you, Toby Rama.
Do it. Nice.
12. And they will
199.
they will defend.
Oh, he shifted.
I shifted
It is
instead
this
of
one's
dodging.
turn.
The shift did.
Does shift buff your damage? Yeah.
It buffs my damage die size.
Oh, D10s, yeah.
1, 2. Oh, actually, before I do move these two, Telperion, you can make a shift, a tactician adjustment if you would like.
Ooh, Telperion, can I make a request?
Happily. You telepath to me.
Can you switch Rome and I?
He can only snap people to and from himself.
Well, wait. I can snap one of you.
You could snap me below Roulette.
You could do that.
Yeah. I do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I will be better at tacticianing in future. Without the names, though, it's just like it's me looking and making yellow boxes appear.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes. Anyway, we do that, Jerry.
Perfect. It will be this one's turn. 1, 2, dash, 3, 4, defend. Rome.
Move my situation here. So it's up and then over. That's 2 movements.
Yep. Try and move them all at one time. It'll go a little
Just
easier.
highlight the whole thing.
Oh, I can't do that?
You can do a click and drag to select everything.
Yeah, if you click and drag over all your stuff and then use arrow keys, it'll very easily move the whole group.
Okay, and then I'm going to use my bonus action to get it bigger.
Okay. I will do this. Go ahead and place that space wherever you would want it.
Perfect.
Nice.
And
Dude.
I can't attack this round.
Yeah, you
I
can.
already dashed,
You-
right?
No,
I don't think
just-
you dashed.
Or,
You only
sorry.
move 2.
You only move
okay.
2. You can attack.
Never mind. I will attack this situation.
Okay. Go ahead and roll now 4d8. and your HP total is 100 now.
Oh shit!
48.
Because each square is worth 25.
That's how Rome becomes a guy at.
It's no longer just her form; it's now the form of all of her minions.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Roulette's turn.
As they are coming towards us, we're swinging down at them. 4d8.
17. They will take half at 8. Okay.
And as we go down, the spears also have some nets and ropes attached to them. Bonus action, spear casting at them. And I will.
Are hindered.
1, 2, 3, 4. Back to here.
Okay.
And that is my turn.
Jiri, you're up.
All right. I will move up to here, and then Chris, does this count as being 2 squares away from this guy?
No, only orthogonal stuff here. No slanteds, just because that'd be a nightmare
Okay.
to manage and balance.
Hold on
But a bonus action could get you a little farther.
You can just move up 1 space and then be within range of that upper one.
Yeah, but I need to be touching. So if I'm touching Rome
If you're touching
like this, does that still
Yes,
give
that actually, so you are successfully, I'm using Fire Emblem rules here helpfully. If you are in that space above you, you actually are successfully 2 spaces away from the corner situation. When it says a range of 1, it's range orthogonally, but another movement would put you into that square. So point being,
what? So
you are technically in you're 2 range away from Rome and Durast and other Durast right now.
Yeah, more specifically, am I in the unseen overlooked? If I'm here.
Yes, Rome's hit points of her unit are far above yours, so you cannot be targeted right now
from this position. Okay. Then I will. Okay. Second question: would I be allowed to attack from the trees in this position, or would I have to actually?
No, you have to be physically overlapping with one of Rome's spaces to use that.
So then, I will do movements of 1, 2, maneuver. Can I pause mid-maneuver attack and then
absolutely,
move here? Okay.
Absolutely.
So
Jesus Christ, I love it.
I will attack from here.
All these new rules.
2d8.
D8. 8.
Perfect.
And then I will move up.
Okay. They are kind of locked into a position. They can't really move left or down right now because of where you guys are positioned. Telperion, your turn.
How much damage has this one taken? This top right. Do we get to know that?
I don't think you get to know that.
Okay. I want to pile on though and do. So I'm gonna move.
They seem strong and hardy. Their numbers have not been thinned very much.
Okay, I'm gonna move this way 1, and this way 1, and I can with my range.
Yes, attack that one. Absolutely.
All the Elvish archers are gonna shoot over Jiri's head. But Nora.
4d8.
48. Can I roll in person?
Sure, absolutely.
Oh no. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage.
Okay.
I rolled a 2, 2, 1, and a 4.
Oh.
Got it.
And then I'm gonna take my chances and cloak again.
Okay. You cloak. What turn is it next? It is this one's turn. That one is not very satisfied with being pinned into a corner. But luckily, their special capability that they haven't been able to flex yet doesn't just buy them more movement. if they use it right, it also pushes people back. So number one thing they do is bonus action press. Rome, I would like you to please grab your things and move them back 3 spaces. Your whole line of people, move them back 3 exact spaces.
Oh no, Jerry's alone.
They were still in range. So they are still going to move, and they're going to overlook Jiri's unit because another unit with more HP is still in their capability to attack. But they move and press and push back Rome's unit, and then they will attack you, Rome. For...
Wow, that's a high roll.
27, and really what it is one section of your snake gets smaller, and it's 2 spillover damage to your true unit. So I think as of this point, you would have 75, but you have 73 HP here.
You guys are muted.
I can't hear you. You guys are muted.
Sorry.
They're attacking with 1 less D, right?
Oh, that's a great point.
Get rid of the 8.
For that, yeah, let's completely re-roll it. Let's completely re-roll it.
I was just.
That's great catch. 4d6, not 4d8, because of your wild.
Wild, oh, that's what it's from. Gotcha. Good call.
Good call, Rome.
Very good catch.
Yes!
That's a lot less damage, and you don't lose that extra spot of people. It will only take 9 damage.
Yes!
Oh, it's the passive. It's the bonus action.
No.
That is their movement, their bonus action, their attack. That's all they can do. Toby.
Okay. As the DM who manages so many things, is there a way? Would you like us to try and keep track of who has defended, or is that something that can be asked for to see?
I will generally remember. I don't have so many variables on the play. I know what units have defended, especially if you've used a special ability. I remember that more than anything, so therefore you didn't defend. I'm not going to always tell you what an enemy did.
I want to try and identify who has not defended, if anyone. Is there a way to do that?
I don't think that's something you can do within the chaos of war.
Understood. So
you're welcome certainly to pay attention to what I say when they're doing stuff, but
and I will make an effort to do that because that was my intention, and I got sidetracked personally. I will go 1, 2, 3, and then attack the people in front of me. Do I want to shift? The D10s. Yeah, I'll shift. I'll do a bonus action shift. And then do an attack.
4d10. Or 9d10, I'm sorry.
9d10. 10, 14, 24, 30, 32.
We should also talk
39
about...
damage.
Yeah,
to
time
this
frame.
unit.
Yeah, that's been on my mind. How much damage to that particular unit?
39. So if they were defended, 19.
Indeed. Got it. Okay. You guys have started the warfare effort. We are at 4 hours. I do want to actually call it here. Not only because Mary and I have dinner, but we've got Mary's sister in town with us tonight as well. So I think we'll sort of pick up from the middle of warfare when we get back, if that's okay.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Was there anything special about next week?
No, I don't think it's until the following week that Chris is in Madison that we are off.
Okay. Did you have to do your early start or something, MK, or not really?
Yes. So for September and October, 2:30 to 3:30, I'm busy. So if we can do 10 to 2.
So that you want to do that next week, starting next Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that should be totally fine for me.
Second order of business. Crit, you were going to think about inspiration from last week, and then is there any for this week? Just to put it back to you.
is true. No one gave me feedback on last week's
Yeah,
vote.
we totally dropped the ball on that.
I'll say we're combining both sessions into one. Let me know what you don't have to have feedback right this second, but text me feedback and we will award a point to someone. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks for being willing to try out some of this warfare stuff. We'll see if I'm already suspecting, wow, it's actually moving a little slower than I originally anticipated. So already I'm just sort of like focus grouping and workshopping thoughts on it. So if we decide after one, oh, that was kind of cumbersome, we don't have to do it, or we can keep it unchanged, or we can make minor tweaks and we can talk through it together.
Well, also,
but yeah,
I think in the future we won't be asking questions like, how can I move? Like, I think we'll
for sure
be faster in general. Nice session, everybody.
Sure. We also did start it at 7:30. The warfare started at 7:30, so we had 30 minutes to stumble through our first time ever. So I'm not too concerned about it yet. But
no, it was fun.
Cool.
So far, so good.